last year's title holder, Somerville House, not in this, so it'll be a new champion for 2018.
So we're very close to getting underway. First race of the day.
Grammar, Stuart Home, Canberra Girls Grammar, Toowong, Melbourne Girls Grammar, Kentish Composite, PLC Perth, Attention,
So day 6 of the 2018 Sydney International Rowing Regatta is underway, and over on this near side of the course, it's Kentish Composite and PLC Perth, which look to be just ahead as they are over that opening 100 metres. From the far side to the near side, it's the Hunter Valley Grammar Composite, the Hunter Valley Newcastle Grammar Composite, so the 2 Hunter schools there, then Rockhampton Grammar, Stuart Home, Canberra Girls Grammar in the centre of the course with Toowong, Melbourne Girls Grammar, Kentish Composite, and then PLC Perth right on this near side. And currently, it's the crew in lane number 3, Stuart Home, with just an advantage, rating at 35.5. So it's a high rating from Stuart Home, taking the advantage from the Canberra Girls Grammar side. It's crew on their left-hand side, which is just in second place at the moment. Back in third is Toowong. So it's that lanes 3, 4 and 5 at the moment, which looks to be out in front. Just over a minute gone in this race. You can see there over on the far side that lane 3 crew, which is Kaya O'Shaughnessy, Zara Wareham, Sophia Tully and Emma Tucker, coxed by Isabel Maley and coached by Patrick Makem and Matthew Marden. That's that Stuart Home crew. Over in lane 3 in the red and yellow colours. In lane 5, you can see also with them currently is Toowong, Georgia Skelton, Lily Devereaux, Lucy Hope and Sophie Gerber, coxed by Stephanie Gerber and coached by Andrew Gerber. So a family affair, and they're in second at the moment. So it's Stuart Home after the first 500 metres in a time of 1:45.25. Toowong just a second behind. Canberra Girls Grammar is less than a second behind Toowong in third. So it's very tight, as you would expect, in this under-17 women's cox quad scull final. Last year, the champion was Somerville House. And as Owen mentioned before, they are not in the event this year, so we'll get a new winner. And what do you make of the opening to this race, Owen?
Yeah, certainly a great start from Stuart Home, and Toowong just slightly underrating him, so they look like they've got some good boat speed at the lower rate, and looking to try and push through in that middle 1,000 of this one. But it's the 2 Queensland schools that are doing very, very well. Canberra Girls Grammar School have quite a good, strong tradition in quad sculling, so expect them to be strong. So that's the top 3 crews as they start to make their way up towards the 850 metre mark.
Yeah, so we'll get another time check in just a second as to where these crews sit. As you see from the wide shot, it is Stuart Home now advancing into that first position from Toowong. So those front 2 crews have increased the gap back to third, and in third currently is the crew from Canberra Girls Grammar. So there they are, Toowong and Stuart Home out in front. Toowong rating at 30, so well underrating the Stuart Home crew as it stands. They're rating high at the beginning of the race. And here is the 1K time check. So 3:35.18 Stuart Home go through the 1K, but less than a second behind Toowong. They've opened up a lead back to Canberra Girls Grammar. Then the Kentish Tasmania University crew, Melbourne Girls Grammar, Rockhampton Grammar, then it's that Hunter Valley Grammar, Newcastle Grammar Composite and PLC Perth. But still fairly tight from third all the way through till 8th. So tight across the back half of the race, but it's Stuart Home and Toowong really making it count at the front of the course. So we see lane 4 just coming into view now. That is the crew from Canberra Girls Grammar, Sophia Nikias, Alice Maxwell, Anna Khan and Harriet Wallace, coxed by Izzy Shaw and coached by Caroline Piipers. PLC Perth are closest to screen. That's the crew in lane 8. They're in 8th position at the 1K, so they're well back currently. There is Stuart Holmes, still in front by about half a boat length from Toowong, and then back in 3rd, Canberra Girls Grammar. Toowong were the fastest qualifier through to this final. Canberra Girls Grammar got through in the other heat in 1st place. So it's those two crews dueling it out. It's going to be one of these two crews who win gold, with Canberra Girls Grammar slipping further and further back as they come into view. So from the far side to the near side, it's Hunter Valley Grammar, Rockhampton, Stuart Home, I should say, Canberra Girls Grammar, Toowong, Melbourne Girls Grammar, Kentish Composite, and then PLC Perth closest to the near side. But it is still the crew from Stuart Home in front, and that lead has just got a little bigger. It's out to 2.08 seconds now. Back to Toowong, Canberra Girls Grammar in 3rd, then it's Rockhampton Grammar, Melbourne Girls Grammar, Kentish Tasmania University. PLC Perth have jumped from 8th to 7th, and the crew from Hunter Valley Grammar and Newcastle Grammar are back in 8th as it stands currently. But it's Stuart Home. Stuart Home, the crew from Queensland and more specifically Brisbane. So it's Stuart Home leading out Toowong, then it's Canberra Girls Grammar in 3rd place. So it's going to be Queensland, a Queensland crew who claim gold. We're still not 100% sure who is going to get there, but currently it's Stuart Home just increasing that advantage. There they are, looking very much in sync and in tune in the boat. Can Toowong find a late burst of energy? This is where it's going to have to count for them. They're going to have to give it everything. Both crews at the front of the course, they're rating at 33. So Toowong are going to have to increase the power that they are putting down. Otherwise, it's going to be Stuart Home who claim gold. So Toowong 2nd, into 3rd is still Canberra Girls Grammar, where they've been for the entire race. But with about 50 metres to travel, it's Stuart Home looking to start the day on a high. 2nd Toowong, 3rd Canberra Girls Grammar. Stuart Home, they should hang on from here. They will hang on from here, and it's Stuart Home's success to start the day. They win gold. 2nd place goes to Toowong, where they were for the entire race. And Canberra Girls Grammar claim the bronze medal. 4th goes the way of Rockhampton Grammar. 5th for Melbourne, then it's Kentish Tasmania University, the PLC Perth crew, and the Hunter Valley Grammar, Newcastle Grammar composite. So it's a Queensland 1-2, Canberra in 3rd.
So unofficial results of the under-17 women's coxed quad sculls. Gold to Stuart Home, silver to Toowong, and bronze to Canberra Girls Grammar. 4th was Rockhampton Grammar, 5th Melbourne Girls Grammar, 6th Kentish Tasmania University, PLC Perth was 7th, and Hunter Valley Grammar, Newcastle Grammar in 8th, and unofficial time 7:16.79, and the margins 2.21 and 4.77. Race 366 is the under-17 men's coxed quad sculls, and we have in lane number 1 UTS and Sydney, lane number 2 the defending champions the Southport School, lane 3 Cathedral School and Mossman composite crew, in lane 4 St Joseph's Nudgee College, in lane 5 St Joseph's Gregory Terrace, in lane 6 Newington College, lane 7 Brisbane Grammar, St Joseph's Gregory Terrace, Hunter Valley Grammar and Rockhampton Grammar, and in lane number 8, Kinross Wallaroi.
Terrace, Newington, Brisbane Grammar Composite, Kinross Wallaroi, Attention,
So race 366, it is underway. The under-17 men's coxed 4, and Sydney over on the far side, the Southport School, Cathedral Townsville composite crew, Nudgee in 4, Gregory Terrace in 5, Newington in 6, then it's Brisbane Grammar Composite, and in the near side with the red bow number is Kinross Walleroy in lane number 8. So Nudgee in lane 4 are in front at the moment, just over 30 seconds into the race. They were the fastest through to the final. Gregory Terrace in lane number 5, just nipping at their heels currently. They are were the second fastest qualifiers, winning heat number 2. Patrick Long in that boat, who had such a great week in the single, winning gold earlier on in the week. So that Nudgee boat just out in front, Zane Kirk, Ben McMillan, Leighton Friedrich and Patrick Long. McMillan and Friedrich, they won silver in the double, and I mentioned Patrick Long gold in the single. Darcy Carmody is their cox, and they are coached by John Bowes. So they're in front, say near the first 500, and it's very even from second place onwards. The rating from Nudgee at 38 currently, so fairly decent pace they're going at, and they've gone through the 500 at 1:35.63. Cathedral, Townsville and Mossman composite just over a second behind. Then it's Brisbane Grammar, Gregory Terrace, the Southport School, Kinross Walleroy and Newington. And there are the Nudgee boys. Out in front, as I mentioned, fastest through, and they're making it count thus far. Just getting into second at the moment is the composite crew in lane number 7. That's the Brisbane Grammar composite. There's Nicholas Story from Rockhampton Grammar, Ben Vickery from Hunter Valley Grammar, James Farquhar from Gregory Terrace, and Hugh Waitman from Brisbane Grammar. Hannah Scarborough is the cox. So a crew with 4 different clubs represented, and they're in second, just edged up into second ahead of Cathedral, Townsville and Mossman, who were in second at the 500. As we look at that wide shot across the course, you can see it is fairly even, as you'd expect in a final of this nature. So we see Nudgee out in front, and it may even be the Southport School. Cathedral, Townsville composite, I should say, they're into second at the moment, as we near that 1K. So there is the Deborah Daly, the boat the Nudgee boys are rowing in lane 4, and they are leading it through the 1K with a time of 3:16.05 from Cathedral, Townsville, Mossman, and then the Southport School in 3rd. And then Newington in 4th, Gregory Terrace and that Brisbane Grammar composite, but it's so tight across the field. You can see that gap has opened up between Nudgee and Cathedral, Townsville and Mossman. We mentioned last year, the Southport School, the champions, Kinross Walleroy finished second. They're back in 7th this year. And Trinity College, who are not in the race this year, they finished in the bronze medal position. So it looks as though it will be all change in 2018. And that those first and second positions just look to be a little more clear-cut than they were probably a minute ago. So Nudgee and the Southport School in 3rd currently, Cathedral Townsville composite in 2nd. So it's lane 4, 3, and then back to 2 in that second boat, as we see Nudgee very much looking in tune there, the Nudgee boys, coxed by Darcy Carmody, coxed by John Bowes. We also see coming into view the Cathedral Townsville composite with Mossman, Flynn Lawton from Mossman, Mungo Murphy from Mossman, Patrick Burke from Mossman, and Bradley Graham from Cathedral Townsville. Tom the Flaffen is the cox, and coached by Stephen Muhlenberg and Judith Ungermark. They're currently sitting in second, so it's 2 seconds the distance between first and second currently. It has opened up a little further, as we saw in the previous race in the under-17 women's coxed quad scull. This in the under-17 men's coxed quad scull, it's a similar story. Nudgee, then Cathedral, Townsville, Mossman, and then Newington in third, so it's about 2 seconds between each of the first 3 crews. Then the Southport School in fourth, Gregory Terrace in fifth, Brisbane Grammar Composite sixth, Kinross Wallaroi seventh, and then back to eighth is the UTS and Sydney Composite. But it's still Nudgee. We'll see if there is a move from the Cathedral, Townsville, and Mossman Composite. But currently, just as we saw in the first race, it's been first, second, and third in the same positions all throughout the race. Will it continue that way to the line? Still Nudgee, but there is a move coming from the Cathedral Townsville Composite crew. 37 from the Cathedral Townsville and Mossman crew. They are really lifting, trying to go here with Nudgee. Can they make it count? Nudgee still ahead and looking as though that is just short. Well, it's just shorter than half a boat length currently over the crew from Mossman and Cathedral Townsville, but Nudgee will hold on and Nudgee will claim gold in the under-17 men's coxed quadruple scull. Second place goes the way of that Mossman crew from Cathedral Townsville as well, and then in third we will need a photo to determine whether it is the crew from the far side in lane 2, the Southport School, or Newington, I should say, on this near side. Fast finishing, but it's Nudgee who claimed gold. Cathedral, Townsville, Mossman in second, and we'll bring that photo to you ASAP.
So unofficial results for the under-17 men's coxed quad sculls. First, St Joseph's Nudgee College. Second, Cathedral, Townsville and Mossman. And third to the Southport School. Newington fourth, St Joseph's Gregory Terrace fifth. Brisbane Grammar, St Joseph's Gregory Terrace, Hunter Valley Grammar and Rocky Grammar are in sixth. Kinross seventh and UTS Sydney in eighth place. Unofficial time 6:37.61, and those margins are 2.41, 2.53 and just 0.13 third and fourth. Presentation of medals for the Under-17 Women's Coxed Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Amy Fernandez, Rowing Australia Deputy Performance Director and Olympic silver medalist. Third place and bronze medalist, Canberra Girls Grammar School. Sophia Nikias, Alice Maxwell, Anna Khan, stroke by Harriet Wallace, and cox by Izzy Shaw, and coached by Caroline Pipers. Second place and silver medalist, Toowong Rowing Club. Georgia Skelton. Lily Devereaux. Lucy Hope. Sophie Gerber. Coxswain Stephanie Gerber, and coached by Andrew Gerber. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Stuart Home School. Kyla O'Shannessy, Zara Wareham, Sophia Tully, stroke by Emma Tucker, coxed by Isabel Maley, coaches Patrick Makem and Matthew Martin. Please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists.
No, I already shotgun. Cards, can I cox on the way home?
And underway in race 367, it is the under-19 women's quadruple sculls. In lane 1, Sydney Mossman. In lane 2, Griffith University Surfers Paradise composite with Lismore and the University of Queensland. In lane 3, Footscray City, Bundaberg, Corowa. Lane 4, Brisbane and GPS, Toowong and the University of Queensland. Sydney Rowing Club are in lane 5. ANU Radford, Nagambie, Canberra in lane 6. The University of Queensland and the University of Western Australia on screen there in lane number 7. And Tasmania University in lane number 8.
And after the opening 500, it's so tight between the top 4 crews at the moment. The Brisbane and GPS Composite, they're out in front. The ANU Composite in second. Third, the Uni of Queensland Composite crew, and in the 4th, Sydney Rowing Club. So it's very difficult to split the top 4. And then tight back to Tasmania University, less than half a second back to them in 5th. The Footscray City Composite 6th, and Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise and Sydney Composite in 8th place. 7th and 8th have really dropped away in the opening 500. So it's down to 6 boats, you'd sense, who can win this one with the disappointing opening 500 to Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise and Sydney. And it's the defending champions, the Brisbane and GPS Composite crew, in 1st place from the ANU Composite. So the Queensland and ACT crews leading it out currently. It's been a great morning for Queensland, with Nudgee winning the previous race and Stuart Home the opening race of today. So we'll see if they can make it a triple treat. The Brisbane and GPS Composite and the Uni of Queensland crew from lane 7, the Uni of Queensland, Uni of WA Composite doing well too. So it could be, well, they're in 2 of the 3 medal spots at the moment. But it is the lane 7 crew who at the 1K seem to be maybe just ahead. The timing is, well, actually, just from the wide shot there, it is definitely the Brisbane and GPS Composite in 1st. 2nd place is Sydney, and then it's that Uni of Queensland, Uni of WA Composite crew. And then back in 4th, they've just slipped away in that back half of that 500 is the ANU Composite from ACT. So over on that far side, it's the lane 4 crew, the Brisbane and GPS Composite. There's Caitlin Douglas from Toowong, Portia Bennett from Uni of Queensland, Laura Chancellor also from Toowong, and then Taylor McCarthy-Smith from the Brisbane Grammar Composite, from the Brisbane Grammar School, I should say. And she's the only member of that crew who was in the winning crew last year for Brisbane and GPS in that composite crew with Townsville and Commercial as well. So they're ahead. 2nd place is with Sydney Rowing Club currently, and then Uni of Queensland back in 3rd. You can see that Sydney boat on screen. In the bow seat, Lauren Graham, and Sophia Carmody in 2, Ella Hudson in 3, and then in stroking the boat is India Thompson, coached by Lachlan Carter, Jason Baker and Donovan Check. In the light blue, the famous colours of Sydney Rowing Club, Then you can just see on this near side that Uni of WA, Uni of Queensland composite crew. Doing well from lane 7, Elizabeth Newell from Uni of Queensland, Claire Netherway from the University of WA Boat Club, Georgia Power from Uni of Queensland, and Alison King also from the Uni of Queensland. They're in third currently. They're coached by Richard Power, Stefan Beloso and Caitlin Hawkins, but it's still Brisbane and GPS Composite at the head of the field currently. Sydney in second, less than 1 second behind, and then Uni of Queensland, Uni of WA, the ANU Composite in fourth, and then Footscray City. They finished third last year. Ruby Bray is stroking that boat. She was a bronze medalist from Footscray last year. They're out of it currently. You can see at the head of the field, it's going to be between the Brisbane and GPS Composite, Sydney, and the Uni of Queensland, Uni of WA. It's half a boat length the difference between the top two crews. Sydney Rowing Club in second, they're rating 35, so really trying to pick it up, and 34 is the rating for the front crew from Brisbane and GPS, and also from Toowong and the University of Queensland. So an all-Queensland boat at the head of the field from Sydney, and then another Queensland and WA boat in third. It's going to be those three boats that claim the medals. We're just not sure of the order as of yet. Is there a late lift from Sydney? The near side, it's Uni of Queensland, Uni of WA, who are making a late move as well. But it's still Brisbane, still holding on to that gold medal position as it stands, maybe even increasing the lead as they come into the last 50 metres. Sydney still coming at them. Then it's Uni of Queensland, Uni of WA, but it's going to be back-to-back for the Brisbane and GPS crew in 2018. Sydney in second. Third place goes the way of Uni of Queensland, Uni of WA. And again, it's 2 medals out of 3 for the Queensland crews. What a superb performance from the Sunshine State early on Saturday. ANU Composite in fourth. 5th place goes the way of Footscray City Composite. As I mentioned, Ruby Bray, a bronze medalist last year. They finished 5th. 6th place goes to Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. 7th, Sydney Composite crew. And then coming home in 8th place, rounding out the field, is Tasmania University.
And unofficial results, first to Brisbane and GPS Toowong, University of Queensland, silver to Sydney, third to University of Queensland and the University of Western Australia. ANU Composite were 4th, 5th to Footscray City Composite, 6th to Griffith University Surfers Paradise Composite, and 7th to Sydney Mossman, 8th to Tasmania University. Unofficial time 6:53.29, and the margins 2.11 and 2.59. Presentation of medals for the Under-17 Men's Coxed Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Hammy Fernandez, Rowing Australia Deputy Performance Director and Olympic silver medalist. Third place and bronze medalists, the Southport School. Grant Callahan. Mackenzie Branch. Lockie Wright. Ethan Froud. And Cox Lockie McTaggart. Second place and silver medalists, the Cathedral School and Mossman. Finn Lawton, Mossman. Mungo Murphy of Mossman. Patrick Burke of Mossman. And Bradley Graham of the Cathedral School. And coxed by Tom Pafflin of Mossman. And their coaches Stefan Muhlenberg and Judith Ungermark. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, St Joseph's Nudgee College. Zane Kirk. Ben McMillan. Leighton Friedrich. Stroke by Patrick Long. Coxed by Darcy Carmody. And coached by John Bowes. Please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists. So racing now with the under-19 men's quad sculls, and it's race 368 in the program, and they've already passed through the first 500, and it was Sydney and Sydney University in the lead out of lane number 6, followed by Mossman just 0.78 back, and 0.932 North Esk over in lane number 2. Fourth is the Port Adelaide Composite, followed by St Joseph's Nudgee College. Launceston Church Grammar over on the far side are 6th. Griffith University 7th, and Tasmania University on this side of the course in 8th place.
So we can see through the first 500 metres, it's the Sydney University Composite in first place currently, Mossman second, North Esk third, Port Adelaide Composite in 4th. And this is a real shock at the moment. Nudgee, they're back in 5th. Not too much of a concern, though. It is only the opening 500. They were the winners of heat number 2 to get through to the final. The fastest qualifiers, Mossman. They're in 2nd. They won gold last year with an entirely different crew. They'll look to make it back-to-back wins in 2018. But as you can see, it's the Sydney University crew in 1st from Mossman. And then in 3rd, it's the Tasmanians, North Esk, who have had such a great week here in Sydney. They cross past the 1K. So it's Sydney University with a time of 3 minutes flat. And it's Mossman in 2nd, 2 seconds, exactly 2 seconds behind North Esk in 3rd. 4th is the Port Adelaide Composite. 5th is Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. Now this is starting to get concerning for Nudgee. They're back in 6th. Launceston Church Grammar in 7th, and Tasmania University in 8th. So a very Tasmanian flavoured field in this under-19 men's quad scull. And you can see it's the Sydney University crew in lane number 6. They have Harry Crouch in bow, Alexander Potter in 2-seat, Kieran Riak in 3, and Ash Nichols stroking the boat from Sydney Rowing Club, coached by Jason Baker, Dustin Butler and Richard Wern. So they're also an N-Swiss crew. So maybe in the heat, they didn't win the heat, but maybe they were just foxing a touch because they were looking good out there on the course currently. 2nd place is Mossman, and then North Esk over in lane 2. They're doing a great job currently. Port Adelaide Composite in 4th, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise in 5th. Looks as though it may be tough for the Queenslanders to continue the strong run of form this morning with Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise crew back in 5th, but stranger things have happened. You can see Sydney Uni in lane 6. They're the leaders. They're 3 boats in, or a couple of boats in from this near side. And then Mossman crossing the 1,500 metres in 2nd. They are really starting to lift here. You can see the move from the Mossman crew. 3rd is North Esk. Port Adelaide Composite are just behind North Esk. So you can say The duel for gold and silver is going to be between the two New South Wales heavyweights. North Esk in third, then Port Adelaide Composite, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. Nudgee, that's a real surprise, back in sixth. And then seventh, Launceston Church Grammar, and eighth, Tasmania University. So the battle for those minor medals will be between North Esk and Port Adelaide Composite. But at the front of the field, it is still Sydney and Sydney University Composite crew, the NSUIS crew, holding on to the advantage, but Mossman are cutting it down with every stroke. Mossman rating 38 currently. Sydney rating 35, so Mossman well outrating the Sydney NSUIS crew on the near side. Will it be enough though? Mossman, they are really coming for them, the defending champions. Sydney still ahead. They enter the last 100 metres, the dark red boys, and it's Mossman with the red and white hoops who are producing an outstanding last 500 metres. Can Sydney Rowing Club hold on? It is neck and neck with 50 metres to go. It's going to be almost impossible to split them. The defending champions against Sydney, and Sydney may have just got it on the line. Sydney upstage, the defending champions from Mossman. Third will go to the Port Adelaide Composite, and South Australia claim a bronze medal. But it's Sydney Rowing Club who look to have just got there in front of Mossman. But we will wait for the photo, Owen. What a classic race that was.
Yeah, certainly Mossman hit the lead towards the end, but Sydney University responded, and then it's gone to the photo finish. So the manual button's being pressed within a quarter of a second, which shows up as a photo on the screen, and we'll await the results of that for the under-19 men's quad scull. It has been revised with Sydney University first, unofficially, second to Mossman, just 0.27 seconds in arrears, and third to the Port Adelaide Swan River A&A Banks Composite, fourth to North Esk, fifth to Griffith University Surfers Paradise, St Joseph's Nudgee College was sixth, Launceston Church Grammar seventh, and in eighth Tasmania University Bow Club. Presentation of medals for the under-19 Women's Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Rob Prescott, Executive Officer of Rowing Tasmania. Third place and bronze medalists, the University of Queensland and the University of Western Australia. Elizabeth Newell from the University of Queensland. Claire Netherway from the University of Western Australia. Georgia Powell from the University of Queensland. Alison King from the University of Queensland. And their coaches Richard Powell, Stefano Belosso and Caitlin Hawkins. Second place and silver medalists, Sydney Rowing Club. Lauren Graham. Sophia Carmody. Ella Hudson. India Thompson. Coaches Lachlan Carter, Jason Baker and Donovan Seck. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Brisbane and GPS, Toowong, the University of Queensland and the Queensland Academy of Sport. Caitlin Douglas of Toowong. Portia Bennett of the University of Queensland. Laura Chancellor of Toowong. And Taylor McCarthy-Smith of Brisbane and GPS. And they're coached by Ben Southwell, Kieran Dwyer and Leonidas Kamitridis, or Karadimitris, my apologies. So please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists.
I'm not sure if that's my water. I just leave the pile that's growing.
We're underway in the under-19 women's 8. And in lane number 1, Ballarat Grammar and Ballarat and Clarendon College. Lane 2, Walford Anglican. Lane 3, the Friends School. Lane 4, Griffith University, Surfers Paradise, Toowong, Kinross Wallaroi and Loretto Normanhurst. Lane 5, Queenwood School. Lane 6, Loretto Old Scholars and Community Rowing Club, St Peters Girls, Adelaide University and Loretto Marriotteville. Lane 7, University of Queensland. And Lane 8, Derwent Mercantile Collegiate Rowing Club.
So at the first 500-metre timing check, it is Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise in first currently from Queenwood. And then it's the Loretto Old Scholars Composite Crew in third, Friends in fourth, Walford Anglican in fifth, Uni of Queensland in sixth. They had the defending champions. It was a composite crew, but the Uni of Queensland Composite defending champs. Then in seventh is DM CRC and Ballarat in eighth. Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, they were the winners of heat number 2, Queenwood, heat 1. So Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise from Queensland, and they, well, it's a composite crew involving themselves, Toowong, Kinross Wallaroi, and Loretto as well. So Rosalind Daly and Lara Gooley from Loretto, Maggie Yeomans from Kinross, Maggie Noonan from Kinross, Phoebe Robinson from Toowong, Hilary Ballinger from Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, as is Jess Scott and Lukey Smith, coxed by Ashley Hawkins and coached by Zach Lewis, Kieran Dwyer and Matthew Curtin. So they are the crew in front at the 1K. 319.54, Loretto Old Scholars Composite in second place, Queenwood in third, the school from Mossman in Sydney, Friends in fourth, and it's Walford Anglican in fifth. Uni of Queensland, as I mentioned, the defending champs, they're back in sixth. They're not out of it, it's still fairly tight. And then the Derwent Mercantile Collegiate Rowing Club in seventh, Ballarat. They're out of it currently in eighth position. You can see that very much members of that boat from everywhere in the Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise Composite. The 3 Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise rowers at the front of the boat. In the bow seat is Rosalind Daly, Lara Gooley in 2. 3 is Maggie Yeomans, and Maggie Noonan is in 4 from Kinross Wallaroi. Phoebe Robinson, Hilary Ballinger, then Jess Scott, Lukey Smith, and the cox Ashley Hawkins is also from Toowong. So that is the crew out in front. They've got about a boat length, which is a decent margin when you're in an 8. And in second place, still just picking at their heels currently, is the Loretto Old Scholars Composite Crew. Queenwood still in third. It's neck and neck between second and third, but you sense there's going to have to be a lot of work coming from that crew in second, the Loretto Old Scholars boat, who were more than 2 seconds outside of that gold medal position at the 1K. We'll see what they are at the 1500. It's Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. They have in fact increased that lead to 3.33 seconds. All the threes. Queenwood, they're in third. 1.46 seconds further back. And then in fourth, Uni of Queensland, who have jumped up. They were started fairly slowly. They've taken a while to get going. But they are looking all right now, the defending champions. But they may have left themselves a lot of work to do. That boat is in lane 7. So they're 2 in the second lane from this near side of the course. But it is still that Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise, Toowong, Kinross Wallaroi and Loretto composite boat who lead the field through into the last 250 metres. You can see the 1750. We are approaching it and they have rode through it, the front crew. Second place last year, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise composite. They're looking to go one better and they're doing everything right currently. Second place and making a move here is the Loretto Old Scholars composite. In third place, it is still Queenwood in lane 5. So the top 3 positions look to be all but sewn up. Uni of Queensland making a move in fourth. But it is the Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise composite crew out in front and still with a decent margin. Back to the Loretto Old Scholars. Queenwood in third. Then it's Uni of Queensland. But it will be Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. They were silver medalists last year. This year they are upgraded and it is gold for Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. Second place goes the way of Loretto Old Scholars composite and Queenwood will finish in third place. A strong finish from the defending champs. They will require a photo to decide whether they have claimed fourth or in fact that has gone to Friends. Fifth place. So fourth and fifth between Friends and Uni of Queensland. Sixth, Walford Anglican. Seventh, Derwent Mercantile Collegials Rowing Club. And in eighth position will be Ballarat Grammar.
And unofficial results for the under-19 women's 8. There's a win to Griffith University Surfers Paradise, Toowong, Kinross Wallaroi and Loretto Normanhurst. Second to the Loretto Old Scholars and Community Rowing Club, St Peter's Girls, Adelaide Uni and Loretto Marriotteville. And bronze to Queenwood. Fourth, University of Queensland. Fifth, Friends. Walford Anglican was sixth. Derwent Mercantile Collegiate was seventh. And in eighth, Ballarat Grammar and Ballarat and Clarendon College. An official time, a very fast 6:43.93 and margins 3.50 and 2.26. Presentation of medals for the Under-19 Men's Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Rob Prescott, Executive Officer of Rowing Tasmania. Third place and bronze medalists, Port Adelaide, Swan River, ANA and Banks. Eric Lowe of Banks. Joe Loveridge of ANA. Representing Swan River, Chad Derricourt. And from Port Adelaide, Zach Martin Petty. Second place and silver medalist, Mossman Rowing Club. Zachary Noble. Torben Ungermark. Mitch Blackmore-Cram. Stroke by Connor Hopkins. Coached by Matthias Ungermark. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018. Sydney Rowing Club, Sydney University and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Harry Crouch, Sydney Rowing Club. Alexander Potter of Sydney. Kieran Riak, Sydney University Boat Club. And Ash Nichols of Sydney Rowing Club. And coaches Jason Baker, Dustin Butler and Richard Wern. Please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists. So we're underway in the under-19 men's 8, and they've already moved through the first 500 metres, and it's the head of the river winners from Queensland, the Southport School, that were leading out of lane number 4. They went through in 1:25.31 out of lane 3, as you can see on screen, and ahead of the Shaw School in lane number 2. St Peter's College from South Australia are in 3rd, followed by Melbourne High School and St Patrick's Composite, and then it is back to Scotch Oakburn, the UTS Composite with Toowong and Brisbane and GPS. Ballarat Clarendon and Ballarat Grammar are in 7th, and the Canned Composite with the University of Queensland and St Joseph's Nudgee College in 8th place.
You can see at the head of the field, so the Southport School and Shaw leading the crews through at the moment. St Peter's College, they were in 3rd in lane 7 at the 500. It seems they have slipped back, so it's lanes 2, 3 and the Melbourne High School Composite crew in 3rd currently as they approach that 1K mark. As Owen mentioned, the Southport School, they were ahead of the river winners in Queensland. And they have dropped back to 2nd now through the 1K. So it's Shaw in 1st position. There was no heats in this event, so it's just a straight final. So Shaw in 1st. It's half the second the lead back to the Southport School. Melbourne St Patrick's Victoria in 3rd. Scotch Oakburn in 4th. St Peter's College in 5th. They won bronze last year, St Peter's College. The UTS Composite and then Canned Composite in 6th and 7th. And Ballarat Clarendon and Ballarat in 8th position through the 1K in this final of the under-19 men's coxed 8. So Shaw, you can see them at the front of the field with and in that Shaw boat in bow, Scott Martin, Tom Woodworth in 2, Finn Blake 3, Max Durham in 4, Zane Carboni in 5, Jake Martin in 6, Tom Galloway in seat 7, and then Tom Anderson is stroking the boat, coxed by Harry Keenan and coached by David Jennings. So there they are, and looking nice at the moment at the 1,500 metre mark. They've got a boat length back to the Melbourne and St Patrick's Victoria crew in 2nd and the Southport School in 3rd. They finished 2nd in the head of the river in New South Wales, did Shaw. to St Ignatius. And they are streaking clear now of the Melbourne St Patrick's Victoria boat. It's increasing the lead as we near the final 400 metres. So Melbourne St Patrick's Victoria second. It's out to 3.2 seconds. The Southport School are half a second back in third. Scotch Oakburn in fourth. UTS Composite in fifth. Scotch Oakburn, I mentioned, they were bronze medalists last year. We'll see if they can get on the dais again in 2018. But that gap doesn't look to be receding for sure. They are stroking their way towards a gold medal. Last year's winners were Scotch College in Victoria. We'll see if Melbourne High School composite crew can take the gold back to Victoria. But it doesn't look like it'll be the case because the lead, while it may be increasing now, it's still a decent enough margin for sure at the front of the field. The Melbourne High School St Patrick's composite in second. Third looks like it may well be a blanket. They're all coming for third place, but out in front, there are no doubts about this. The gold medal is going to shore. Second place, there's fast finishes for third, but second place will definitely go the way of Melbourne High School and St Patrick's. Third to the Southport School. Scotch Oakburn just edged out for fourth. However, we may need to get that confirmed. They are the unofficial results as they stand. So Shaw was superb. 6 minutes flat. Melbourne St Patrick's Victoria in second. The Southport School in third. Scotch Oakburn in fourth. The results are a little bit confused. Well, Scotch Oakburn have now been jumped ahead of Southport. So we will confirm that. Still a bit unsure about those times. Scotch Oakburn looking to make it 2 bronze medals in 2 years.
And unofficial results, first place, the Shaw School in 6:00.93. Melbourne High and St Patrick's were the silver medalists, and third to Scotch Oakburn. Fourth, Southport School, just 0.24 back. St Peter's in fifth. In sixth, the UTS Composite, followed by Cairns Composite in seventh, and Ballarat, Clarendon College and Ballarat Grammar placing eighth. Presentation of medals for the Under-19 Women's Coxed 8 Championship of Australia. And the medals will be presented by Nick Gall, Chief Executive Officer of Rowing Victoria. Third place and bronze medalists, Queenwood School. Ellen Houston. Sophia Feely. Olivia O'Donnell. Danielle Stewart. Sophie Houston. Alexandra Nell. Lauren Schmitz. Stroke by Ellie Clubb. And coxed by Charlotte Lowe. Coaches Adam DeConing and Kieran Glynn. Second place and silver medalist, Loretto Old Scholars and Community Rowing Club, St Peter's Girls, Adelaide University, and Loretto Marriotteville and Seymour College. Cayenne Townend of Adelaide University. Laura Purvis, Seymour College. Laura Blazak, Adelaide Rowing Club. Caitlin Nicholson, Port Adelaide Rowing Club. Georgina Barry, Loretto Marriotteville. Karis Jones, Adelaide University. Rachel Kamenia, St Peter's Girls. Holly Ashworth, Loretto Old Scholars and Community Rowing Club. And Maddie Paisley, the coxswain. And coaches Tom Dornbos, Catherine McDougall and Eleanor Wilson. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Griffith University Service Paradise, Toowong, Kinross Wallaroy School and Loretto Normanhurst. Rosalind Daly, Loretto Normanhurst. Laura Gooley, Loretto Normanhurst. Maggie Yeomans, Kinross Wallaroy. Maggie Noonan, Kinross Wallaroy. Phoebe Robinson, Toowong. Hilary Ballinger, Griffith University Service Paradise. Jess Scott, Griffith University Service Paradise. Lukey Smith, Griffith University Service Paradise. And then Cox and Ashley Hockings of Toowong. And coaches Zach Lewis, Kieron Dwyer and Matthew Curtin. Please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists. And on the course now is the PR3 mixed coxed 4. And through the 500 metre market was the Nepean Balmain Sydney Capital Lakes composite that led in 150.42 ahead of the Torrens composite with Adelaide University, Albert Park, South Melbourne and Bairnsdale. In third, Tasmania University Balmain composite. And in fourth, ANU, Team Hong Kong, Balmain. And in fifth position, University of Queensland Nestles and PLC Sydney.
Yeah, so last year's champions, the University of Tasmania composite crew. And Tasmania University, as we just cross over the 1K mark, and it's the Nepean composite crew. The N-Swiss program, Nikki Ayers from Capital Lakes, Ben Gibson from Sydney, James Talbot from Balmain, Kathleen Murdoch from Nepean, not far from her home river. Kathleen Murdoch and Renee Domashens as the cox, coached by Lindsay Callahan and Jason Baker. They are at the head of the field currently. It's Torrens composite from Adelaide, then Tasmania University and Balmain composite in third as it stands. So Tasmanian University composite won it last year. They're about 18 seconds off the pace currently. ANU composite in fourth. Uni of Queensland composite sit fifth at the 1K mark in this PR3 mix coxed 4. So streaking clear at the moment is that Nepean composite crew, coxed by Renee Domashens, who's been selected as an Australian cox. She's doing a great job currently. Maybe 5 lengths clear. It's a long way back to second place. It was about 12 seconds at the 1K. We'll see what it is at the 1,500 metre mark. You can see Nikki Ayres in the bow seat, Ben Gibson in 2, James Talbot in 3, and Kathleen Murdoch in 4. This PR3 race is was formerly known as the leg, trunk and arms category. Last year, the mixed cox 4, Nepean composite, well clear. In second place, so they've gone through the 1,500 metres in 5:35.36. Torrens composite, almost 19 seconds further back. And then in third, Tasmania University and Balmain. They make it a couple of medals in a year, the Tasmania University crew. Gold last year. Currently in the bronze medal position, and they've got a fairly large gap back to 4th and 5th as it stands, as we see 4th and 5th cross over that 1,500 metre timing point, and Uni of Queensland composite are almost 21 seconds further back than the ANU composite. So ANU, they were in 4th for the opening 1K of the race, and they've slipped back into 5th. Uni of Queensland into 4th, but there's one crew who was led from start to finish. A crew made up of Nikki Ayres from Capital Lakes Rowing Club, Ben Gibson, he's in 2 seat from Sydney Rowing Club, James Talbot from Balmain, Kathleen Murdoch from Nepean and the N-Swiss program, and Renee Domashens, who is coxing the boat, coached by Lindsay Callahan and Jason Baker. And they have got about 50 metres to travel. Second place, it is still the Torrens composite. And in third, Tasmania University composite crew with Balmain. But really, it was never in doubt for the Nepean composite crew. Gold medal is going their way. The gold returns to Sydney. Superb performance from the Nepean composite in a time unofficially of 7:26.93. In second place, it is that Torrens composite crew from Adelaide Uni, Albert Park, and South Melbourne and Barnsdale. They will cross the line about 27 seconds after the Nepean crew. And in third place, Uni of Tasmania, they won gold last year. They will win bronze in 2018. And coming through in 4th and 5th. Looks fairly set at the moment in those positions, and it is the Uni of Queensland composite in 4th and the ANU composite in 5th as they come up to the line in this PR3 mixed cox 4. Formerly was the leg, trunk and arms category. As we say, Uni of Queensland cross in 4th, and 5th place is the ANA composite crew.
So unofficial results of the PR3 mixed coxed 4. First, Nepean, Balmain, Sydney, Capital Lakes. Second to Torrens, Adelaide University, Albert Park, South Melbourne and Bairnsdale. Third to Tasmania University, Balmain. Fourth, Uni of Queensland composite, and 5th, the ANU composite. Unofficial time 7:27.19 and margins 27.07 and 7.86. Presentation of medals for the Under-19 Men's Cox State Championship of Australia. And the medals will be presented by Nick Gall, Chief Executive Officer of Rowing Victoria. In third place and bronze medalist, Scotch Oakburn College. Cameron George. Oliver Cox. Henry Napier. Hamilton Cox. Finian Colley. Samuel Gray. Nick Cash. Stroke by Jacob Finnegan. And Cox by Edward Napier. And coaches James Russell and William Breer. Second place and silver medalist, Melbourne High School and St Patrick's College, Ballarat. Jotun Brotman of Melbourne High School. Gavril Gurovic of Melbourne High School. James Crilley of St Patrick's College. Connor Shugg, St Patrick's College. Hamish Crawley, St Patrick's College. And Regan Champley, St Patrick's College, Ballarat. John Poliniak, Melbourne High School. And stroked by Connor Knight, Melbourne High School. And their Cox Philip Tran. Coaches Paul McGann, Brendan Scott and Dylan Kernow. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, the Shaw School. Scott Martin. Thomas Woodworth. Finn Blake. Max Durham. Zane Carboni. Jake Martin. Thomas Galloway. Tom Anderson. Cox by Harry Keenan. And their coach David Jennings. Please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists. And already through the 1,000 metre mark and passing through the 1,250 metre mark now. Sydney Rowing Club, New South Wales Institute of Sport lead from Adelaide University. Toowong in third, Team Japan fourth, Swan River are in fifth position, West Australian Rowing Club in sixth, Sydney University in seventh and Banks in eighth place.
And that Sydney Rowing Club boat, also an N-Swiss boat, has some pedigree in it. Romola Davenport in bow seat. She won the gold in the under-21 double with Harriet Hudson, who is in stroke. Lauren Lyon and Crystal Piper in 3 and 2 seats respectively. They're coached by Lachlan Carter, Jason Baker and Donovan Seck. In second place, it was Adelaide University at the 1,000 metre mark. We'll get a better indication of whether they have slipped back a little bit here. So Davenport, Lyon, Piper and Hudson crossed the 1500 in a time of 5:07.75. Second is now Toowong. Third is Team Japan. So Team Japan, they won their heat to get through to the final, and it looks as though they're making their move now. Sydney won heat number 2 to make it through to the final, and that is a sizable lead. So Sydney from Toowong, Team Japan in third, Adelaide Uni fourth. The defending champions, WA Rowing Club, they are in fifth as it stands. The only member of that gold medal winning crew last year is the stroke, Kira Vermeesh. Apart from that, it's all changed at WA Rowing Club, and it looks as though the title is going to be heading to Sydney Rowing Club because they've got a very large advantage. It was 4.5 seconds at the 1500 metre mark. Second place is between Toowong and Team Japan. Team Japan have been finishing strong. They started the race in fourth after the first 500 metres, and they've just edged their way closer. Toowong actually started in fifth, so both of those crews have produced an impressive back end, but it's still Sydney looking strong out in front. Second place as it stands. Toowong maybe just have Team Japan. And then it's Adelaide University back in fourth, but it's clear to see who is going to win the 3 medals. It's just the order that is still up for grabs. So Sydney Rowing Club, absolutely superb from Sydney. Gold medal goes their way. Second place will just go to Toowong, and third to Team Japan. But it's a second gold medal this week for Amola Davenport and Harriet Hudson. They won the double, and they have won the quad as well. Adelaide University fourth. Fifth place will go the way of WA Rowing Club, the defending champions. Sydney Uni in sixth, Swan River seventh, and in eighth is Banks Rowing Club over the far side of the course.
Unofficial results for the under-21 women's quadruple sculls. First, Sydney Rowing Club and New South Wales Institute of Sport. Silver to Toowong. And bronze to Team Japan, fourth Adelaide University, fifth West Australian Rowing Club, sixth Sydney University Boat Club, and in seventh Swan River, eighth Banks. Unofficial time 6:52.04 and margins 4.12 and 0.34. On the in the hands of the held starters, the under-21 men's quadruple scull, and the field that we have in lane number 2, Banks, lane 3, Toowong, North Esk are out of lane number 4, Mossman and the New South Wales Institute of Sport in lane 5, Sydney and the New South Wales Institute of Sport in lane 6, Barwon are in lane 7, and West Australian Rowing Club are in the lane on the grandstand side of the course in lane number 8. Presentation of medals for the PR3 Mixed Cox 4 Championship of Australia, and the medals will be presented by Gordon Marks, Rowing Australia Para Rowing Lead. Third place and bronze medalists, Tasmania University Boat Club and Balmain Rowing Club. Alastair Chong, Tasmania University Boat Club. Ruby Sutherland, Balmain Rowing Club. Sarah Vaitzer, Tasmanian University Boat Club. And Michael Taylor, Tasmanian University Boat Club. Fox Xanthia McCarthy and coach Mark Stott. Second place and silver medalists, Torrens, Adelaide University, Albert Park, South Melbourne and Bairnsdale Rowing Club. Representing Bairnsdale, Alex Vierman. Kate Lapthorne of Albert Park, South Melbourne. William Smith of Adelaide University is unable to make the presentation. Jed Altswager of Torrens Rowing Club in the stroke seat. And coxed by Amy Caritas. Their coaches Benjamin Flanagan and Andrew O'Brien. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Nepean, Balmain, Sydney, Capital Lakes and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Nikki Ayres of Capital Lakes Rowing Club. Ben Gibson of Sydney Rowing Club. James Talbot, Balmain. And Kathleen Murdoch, Nepean Rowing Club. Coxed by Renee Domasheds of the Australian National University Boat Club. And their coaches Lindsay Callaghan and Jason Baker. Please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists.
So the under-21 men's quadruple scull on the course at the moment, and it's Sydney Rowing Club leading the way again. Mossman in second, WA Rowing Club in third, North Esk fourth, Banks fifth and Toowong in sixth. They've got some history in this event. Sydney Rowing Club won it back in 2015 and 2016. Last year it went the way of Sydney University. They're not in this race in 2018. WA Rowing Club, they're back in fifth at the moment. They won silver last year. We're looking for another strong showing, but it's Sydney from Mossman, WA Rowing Club, I should say. They're in third, North Esk fourth, Banks in fifth, and Toowong sixth, Barwon back in seventh. But it's that N-Swiss crew out in front. In bow seat is Max Brenner, Lucas Giles in two, Jackson Kench in three, Alex Nicol in stroke seat, coached by Donovan Seck, Jason Baker and Lachlan Carter. They won the under-21 women's quad scull and they are sitting pretty in a bid to make it 2 from 2 here. So Toowong, Toowong back in sixth, Barwon in seventh. Those two crews and Banks in fifth looking a little out of it at the moment. It's the top four who are vying for the medals. North Esk and WA Rowing Club, they're neck and neck in a battle for the bronze. And Mossman, they were just 2 seconds from Sydney at the 1K. We'll see what the timing check at the 1500 will tell us. And it tells us that Sydney Rowing Club, with the N-Swiss program, they have increased their lead back to Mossman, also connected with N-Swiss as well. Then it's North Esk, who have taken third from WA Rowing Club, last year's silver medalists. And then it's Banks in fifth, Toowong in sixth, and then back in seventh will be Barwon Rowing Club, who are more than 10 seconds back. So is there a move from Mossman? There's a 3-second gap. We saw what they could do earlier, Mossman, with such an almightily close finish earlier in the day. In third, North Esk, the crew from Tasmania. And you can just see at the far left-hand edge of screen, the Lane 8 crew of WA Rowing Club. They're in 4th currently. North Esk are rating 42. And you can see the move they're making in lane 4. They have really lifted it. They have gone to another level, North Esk, and they have now just pushed their bow ball ahead of Mossman, and they are gunning for Sydney Rowing Club now. And Sydney Rowing Club have got some work to do. They've led from start up until this point. They'll want to hang on from here. North Esk into 2nd, and in 3rd it is Mossman. Sydney still hanging on by about half a boat length. North Esk in 2nd, but it will be the Sky Blues who make it 2 from 2 in the under-21 quad scull. They won the women's quad just a moment ago. They double it up with the men's. North Esk 2nd, Mossman in 3rd. WA Rowing Club, they won't win a medal this year. They finish 4th. 5th goes the way of Banks. 6th, just crossing the line, is Toowong, and in 7th is Barwon.
And unofficial results of the under-21 men's quad scull. Sydney Rowing Club 1st place, 2nd North Esk, 3rd to Mossman, 4th West Australian Rowing Club, 5th Banks, 6th Toowong, and 7th Barwon. Unofficial time 6:09.67, and margins 1.57, 1.76 and 1.86.
Sydney, surrounded by pristine national parks, riverways, stunning water views, iconic beaches, and coastal walks from the north to the south, all with the beautiful harbour at its heart. You'll love every second of Sydney. Discover more at sydney.com.
And from 9:30 till 10:30, so kicking off now, the Invictus athletes will be available underneath the breezeway area till 10:30 this morning. So head on over there and check them out on the ergos in the breezeway area. So that's the Invictus athletes over underneath the boat shed area. And on the start line, race 374, the under-23 women's quadruple sculls. And lane number 4, Melbourne Composite with Fremantle and West Australian Rowing Club, as well as the Victorian Institute of Sport, the National Training Centre, and the Western Australian Institute of Sport. That's Sienna Zaman, Annabelle McIntyre, Amanda Bateman and Rhea Thompson, and their coach Simon Gadsden. In lane 5, Melbourne, Sydney Corio Bay, Brianna Caputo, Sydney Arnold, Ella Hudson, Lily Cathcart, and coached by David Orchard and Lachlan Carter. And in lane 6, Essendon Mercantile Banks, Chloe Patterson, Kate Duggan, Sienna Smith, Rachel Hatherley, and they're coached by Nick Mitchell, Bill Webster and Barry Gardner, and they have just moved off the line.
So in the early stages, very even across all crews. Last year's title winners, the gold medalists, were the Uni of WA Fremantle NTC and the WA Institute of Sport composite crew. So there is a WA Institute of Sport rower in lane 4, Sienna Zaman. Fremantle's Annabelle McIntyre in lane 4 as well. Rhea Thompson from Mercantile with Amanda Bateman. So that's probably the closest connection we've got back to last year's champions. Melbourne Composite finished in 2nd last year. They're in lane 5. You can just see them just past the screen there. And that is the lane 6 crew, the Essendon Mercantile and Banks Composite crew. And already a sizable advantage for that Mercantile Composite crew over in lane number 4. We're near that first 500-metre time check, and we'll find out just how much that advantage is. Yeah, 1:38.21, the Mercantile Composite crew, Mercantile, Fremantle, and Western Australia. And they are out by 5.61 seconds. Melbourne Composite in 2nd and the Essendon Composite in 3rd. And Owen, in this race, only the top 2 get medals. That's correct, isn't it? So there'll be no bronze handed out.
Yeah, that's right, and it looks like one of them you could just about hand it out now to the leading boat, Sienna Zaman, the very polished sculler in the bow seat, Annabelle McIntyre, the great sweep oarswoman, sorry, I should say, who's there sculling, and Amanda Bateman, who was silver in the single, and who won gold in the double with Rhea Thompson, who won gold in the single scull and double scull of this event. So you can see why they're out in front and dominating this field as they head up towards the 750-metre mark. And well clear of Melbourne, Sydney, Corio Bay and Essendon Mercantile Banks. Well back in 3rd spot.
So 3:19.37, and that is a huge advantage Mercantile Composite have over the Melbourne Composite crew. Sienna Zaman, she's in the bow seat from WA Rowing Club. Annabelle McIntyre from Fremantle in 2 seat. You can see the lightish blue zooty of Fremantle with Annabelle McIntyre there in 2 seat. Amanda Bateman in 3 and Rhea Thompson in 4. Both of those 2 scullers from Mercantile Rowing Club. And as Owen mentioned, Rhea Thompson won gold in the single in the under-21 women's single scull. Amanda Bateman silver. Then they teamed up for the double and won gold. So looks as though it may be a triple treat of gold medals going the way of Rhea Thompson in the stroke seat, setting the tempo for that boat, which is well clear of 2nd and 3rd place at the moment. And 2nd place at the 1K was Melbourne Composite. They were 13 seconds back from Mercantile, but Essendon were only just on their heels, so it could be a tight one for the silver medal. As you can see, Zaman there in bow in the colours of WA Rowing Club, so a strong WA connection that boat has. WA and Victorian connection, half and half. And then in 2nd currently, in lane number 5, just with their bow ahead, is the Melbourne Composite crew of Brianna Caputo, Sydney Arnold. So Brianna Caputo from Sydney Rowing Club, Sydney Arnold from Corio Bay. It's a little bit confusing. Ella Hudson also from Sydney, and Lily Cathcart from Melbourne. coached by David Otchert and Lachlan Carter. So they're in second. Third place, maybe it's a little bit further than we expected. Yeah, it is 4.5 seconds back to the Essendon composite. There's Chloe Patterson in bow, Kate Duggan in two-seat from Mercantile, Sienna Smith from Essendon, and Rachel Hatherley from Essendon as well, coached by Nick Mitchell, Bill Webster and Barry Gardner. That's the crew from Melbourne Composite on screen at the moment. You can see Caputo in the bow seat, Sydney Arnold, Ella Hudson, and then Lily Cathcart. Sydney Arnold, I should say, in the bow seat of that Melbourne Composite boat. The two Sydney scullers in the middle. But stroking well clear with 100 metres to go is the Mercantile Composite crew. Rhea Thompson, Amanda Bateman, Annabelle McIntyre and Sienna Zaman. And that is the most impressive lead we have seen today in all of the finals. The Uni of WA and Fremantle, they won it last year, and in the boat, currently there is a strong connection back to the gold medalists from last year. So it'll be a triple treat of gold medals for Rhea Thompson. Amanda Bateman wins her second gold, and Annabelle McIntyre and Sienna Zaman will also grab a gold as well in that Mercantile Composite crew. Second place, have stroked clear over the back half of the race, is the Melbourne, Sydney and Corio Bay Composite, and in third, Essendon, Mercantile and Banks Composite crew. So gold and silver, gold to Mercantile Composite, silver to the Melbourne Composite.
And unofficial results. First to Mercantile Fremantle, West Australian Rowing Club with VIS, NTC and the West Australian Institute of Sport. Silver to Melbourne, Sydney, Corio Bay, and third place to Essendon Mercantile Banks, 6:47.15 the time, and margins 24.68 and 5.47. Presentation of medals for the Under-21 Men's Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia, and the medals will be presented by David Hutton, Chief Executive Officer of Rowing South Australia. In third place and bronze medalists, Mossman Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport, Luke Rossi. Biana Ungamark. Justin Brown. And Daniel Samus. Coached by Matthias Ungamark. Second place and silver medalists, North Esk Rowing Club. Connor Ryan unable to make the presentation in the two-seat Joseph Wilson. Jack Barrett. Angus McGlashan. And the coaches Trevor Barrett and Michael Wilson. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Max Brenner, Lucas Giles, Jackson Kench, and Alex Nickel. Coaches Donovan Seck, Jason Baker and Lachlan Carter. And please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists. And racing now with the under-23 men's quadruple sculls and the field that we have in lane number 2, Sydney ANU. In lane 3, Sydney Mossman, Newcastle University, and the ACT Pathways program in the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Lane 4, West Australian Rowing Club, Swan River, University of Western Australia and Fremantle, and the Western Australian Institute of Sport. Lane 5, Capital Lakes, ANU, Griffith University, Surfers Paradise and the Queensland Academy of Sport. Mercantile in lane 6, and in lane 7, Adelaide University as they make their way through the 500 metre mark.
And it's Capital Lakes, so 127.50 through the first 500. And as you would expect, tight back to WA Rowing Club Composite, Mossman Composite in 3rd, the ANA Composite in 4th, Mercantile in 5th, and then Adelaide Uni. They are back in 6th position at the moment. That 2nd place WA Rowing Club Composite crew, that has a very, very strong 4 rowers in the boat. Sam Marsh, who won gold last year in this event in 2017. He won silver in the single earlier in the week. He's in the boat also with Fraser Pensini, who won bronze in the single in the under-23 single scull. And Pensini also won silver last year with Willis Armstrong in this event. So very strong pedigree in the WA Rowing Club composite boat. They're in lane 4. So it's Capital Lakes ahead. WA Rowing Club composite in 2nd, Mossman composite in 3rd. Nathan Kennedy and Alex Griskowiak, they finished in 2nd place in silver medal in the double, as we can see that lead boat from Capital Lakes. It's Jackson Free in bow, Cormac Kennedy Leverett in 2 seat, Nathan Kennedy in 3, and Griskowiak stroking the boat. They've changed their order a bit, this Capital Lakes composite. It's Nathan Kennedy who is in the bow seat, and then you've got Kennedy, Leverett and Free in 2 and 3 from Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. Griskowiak in the stroke seat, coached by Nick Garrett and Marcus Free. You go Nathan Kennedy on screen there, and Griskowiak and Kennedy in the double. They led the combination of Pensini and Marsh for much of the race and were run down late. We'll see if Lightning strikes twice in the quad as well. In 3rd place, the Mossman composite crew, who have Sean Murphy, Odin McIntosh, Tom Schranko, who won gold in the single, and Charlie Patterson from Sydney Rowing Club. And they're in 3rd. They're in lane number 3. Over on the far side, you can just see them in shot now. Mercantile are back in 4th. 5th place is Capital Lakes. 5th place is ANA, I should say. 6th place, Adelaide University. So Capital Lakes with a 2.44 second advantage back to that WA Rowing Club composite.
They must have rode it away.
Didn't see that happen.
They come into the last 250 metres, so it is still the crew who has led up to this point, and that is the Capital Lakes Composite in lane number 5. But the crews on their stroke side are coming at them and coming at them fast. WA Rowing Club in lane 4 there in second, and then it's the Mossman Composite with Tom Schranko, of course, who won gold in the single, and they're in third. But still Capital Lakes are holding off the move from the WA Rowing Club Composite crew. Nathan Kennedy and Chris Kowiak in the boat with along with Kennedy Leverett and Jackson Free, and it looks as though they will definitely claim gold. They've been able to hold off a strong challenge in the last kilometre from the WA Rowing Club Composite. And in third, it is the Mossman Composite. Fourth goes the way of Mercantile. Fifth on the far side will go the way of the ANA Composite crew. Tom Collins, who won gold in this event last year. He's in that boat. And in 6th position will be Adelaide University on the near side of the course. But it's Capital Lakes who claim gold, WA Rowing Club silver, Mossman bronze.
Presentation of medals for the Under-23 Women's Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia, and the medals will be presented by Dan Tackenberg, the Chief Executive Officer of Rowing Western Australia. And second place and silver medalists, Melbourne, Sydney, Corio Bay. Brianna Caputo of Sydney Rowing Club. Sydney Arnold, Corio Bay. Ella Hudson, Sydney. And Lily Cathcart, Melbourne Rowing Club. Their coaches David Orchard and Lachlan Carter. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Mercantile Fremantle, West Australian Rowing Club, and the Victorian Institute of Sport, the National Training Centre and the Western Australian Institute of Sport. Sienna Zaman, West Australian Rowing Club. Annabelle McIntyre, Fremantle. Amanda Bateman, Mercantile. And Rhea Thompson, Mercantile. And coach Simon Gadsden. Please congratulate the 2018 Australian Championships and the champions and medalists. And on the course now, and just underway, race 376, the under-23 women's coxed 8. And we have in lane number 3, Mercantile and the Victorian Institute of Sport. Lane 4 is UTS, Adelaide and Melbourne Rowing Club. Lane 5 is the University of Queensland and the Queensland Academy of Sport. And in lane 6, Sydney University and the New South Wales Institute of Sport.
So underway, race 376, and Uni of Queensland are out in front just through the first 350 metres of the 2018 championship for the under-23 women's coxed 8. Day 6, perfect conditions. The wind down at about 2 kilometres an hour from the Bureau. Very nice conditions for rowing out at the Sydney International Regatta Centre this morning, and it's Uni of Queensland Composite still ahead. Sydney Uni less than a second behind, Mercantile in third, UTS Composite in fourth, but all 4 crews within a boat length or a boat length and a half of each other as it stands currently. So it's Mercantile, who are the 2016 champs in this event. They're over in the far side in lane number 3 and third. And it's in lane 4, the UTS Composite, UTS Adelaide and Melbourne. Then the Uni of Queensland, Queensland Academy of Sport crew in lane 5, Sydney Uni in lane 6. It was the Uni of Queensland Composite with the Queensland Academy of Sport and the Victorian Institute of Sport that won this event last year. So 1:34.76, the time that the lead crew went through the past the timing hut. So it's still Uni of Queensland as we come past the 1K in first place. 3:12.43, Sydney Uni in second, Mercantile in third, and the UTS Composite in fourth place. So the Queenslanders leading from the New South Wales crew, and then the Victorians from Mercantile in third place. There is the crew out in front. It's Madeline Williams, Miller Ferris, Clara Jansen, Kelly Drenth, Tyler Ferris, Kate Rowan, Eloise Parker and Ellen Pozzi, coxed by Caitlin Hawkins and coached by Ben Southwell, Zoltan Shepherd and Michael Russell. There are 4 members of that lead crew who won gold last year in the Uni of Queensland Composite. And they are well placed to do it again. 750 metres to go. You can see on the far side, 1,250 metres down, well over halfway now in second place. Just next to them on their bow side is Sydney University, and then Mercantile. You can just see the Mercantile boat in lane number 3 in third position as it stands, and then UTS Composite back in fourth, but still the University of Queensland, the Queensland Academy of Sport crew leading the Sydney University and Swiss crew. So a battle of the 2 Academy of Sports, the Queensland Academy of Sport and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Is there a response from Sydney University? It's been such a good morning for Queensland. New South Wales have responded towards the back end. Victoria's had a good morning as well. As here is Queensland going past the 1,500 metre mark in 4:51. 4.01. It's now 4.41 seconds, that lead. It is getting harder and harder by every stroke for Sydney University to fight back here. Mercantile from Melbourne in third, the Victorian Institute of Sport crew. And then in fourth, UTS Composite, also with the New South Wales Institute of Sport. But still, Queensland, you can see the pain on the faces of the Uni of Queensland girls, but they are still in front. Sydney University now in second place. And still sitting in third is Mercantile from UTS. It's tight between those two. The blue boat of Mercantile just ahead of UTS with about 150 metres to travel down the course. It's University of Queensland still holding on from the Sydney University crew. They've got Rachel Crevice and Jamie Ford. They won silver in the pair in that Sydney University boat. Will it be enough? Still, Queensland look to be increasing their advantage. They hit the 100 metre to go, boys. And still, Queensland looks strong. Sydney second. Third place back is Mercantile, the 2016 champions. But it's Queensland who have looked the goods all morning, and it's going to be Sunshine State success again in the women's under-23 coxed 8, 2 years in a row. It goes to the University of Queensland. Second place, Sydney Uni. Third place, Mercantile. They will hold off the fast finishing crew from UTS. But it's Queensland again. It's been their morning so far. They claim gold, Sydney Uni silver, Mercantile bronze.
The unofficial results of race number 376, the under-23 women's 8, a win for the composite of University of Queensland and the QAS. In second, Sydney University Boat Club. In third, Mercantile. And in fourth, the composite of UTS, Adelaide and Melbourne Rowing Clubs. Winning time, unofficially, 6 minutes 29.72 seconds.
UTS Composite, Adelaide University Composite, West Australian Composite, Sydney, Melbourne University, Sydney University, Adelaide Composite. Attention.
The start of the under-23 men's coxed 8. Racing for the Australian Federation of Old Oarsmen Trophy. In lane 2, we have a composite from UTS, Banks and Mercantile Rowing Clubs and the Victorian Institute of Sport. In lane 3, a composite from Adelaide University, the University of Queensland and Sydney University. In lane 4, a composite from West Australian, Swan River and Fremantle Rowing Clubs and the University of Western Australia. In lane 5, Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. In lane 6, Melbourne University Boat Club. In lane 7, Sydney University Boat Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. And in lane 8, a composite between Adelaide, Toowong and Commercial. The presentation of medals for the Under-23 Men's Quad Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Dan Tackenberg, CEO of Rowing Western Australia. Third place and bronze medalists, Mossman Rowing Club, Newcastle University Boat Club and Sydney Rowing Club, New South Wales Institute of Sport. Charlie Patterson from Sydney Rowing Club. Odin McIntosh from Newcastle University Boat Club. Peter Brongo from Mossman Rowing Club. And their stroke Sean Murphy from Mossman Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. The crew was coached by Matthias Ungermark, Nick Garrett and Donovan Check. Second place and silver medalists, the composite of West Australian Rowing Club, Swan River Rowing Club, the University of Western Australia and Fremantle and the Western Australian Institute of Sport. Willis Armstrong from Fremantle Rowing Club. Fraser Pensini from the University of WA. Sam Marsh from Swan River Rowing Club. And Oscar Winter from West Australia Rowing Club. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, the composite from Capital Lakes Rowing Club, ANU, Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise and the Queensland Academy of Sport. Jackson Free from Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. And Cormac Kennedy Leverett from Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise and the Queensland Academy of Sport. Nathan Kennedy from ANU. And Alex Grezkoviak from Capital Lakes Rowing Club and the ACT Pathways Programme. The crew was coached by Nick Garrett and Marcus Free. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our champions and medalists in the Under-23 Men's Quad Scull.
And now through the 1,500 metre mark in race 377. So we join this race with just over a quarter to go, and it's being led still by the Sydney University crew, racing in lane 7, who've been in front right from the start of this race and still holding a margin of a couple of seconds from the UTS composite crew over on the far side of the Sydney International Regatta Centre. It's UTS, Mercantile and Banks in fact, so a two-state composite crew there in 2. But it is lane 7, our race leaders, all representing the Sydney University Boat Club. Matt Murray, Devlin Walsh, Leon Chambers, Morgan Brooking, Marcus Britt, Willow Shaughnessy, Andrew Judge, Jack O'Brien and Daniel Petit, the cox of that crew from Sydney Uni. who've got the best part of the boat length now as they close in on the final 150 metres of this race, the final of the under-23 men's coxed 8 for the Australian Federation of Old Oarsmen Trophy, and Sydney University, lane 7, our race leaders still from UTS, Mercantile and Banks on the far side. Just third would be Adelaide, Toowong and Commercial in lane 8, ahead of Melbourne Uni and also Sydney, then the West Australians and Adelaide University Composite crew in lane 3. But it's Sydney Uni on the grandstand side, UTS Composite coming home quickly the outside lane, but there's still about half a length or so down, and it will be the lane 7 combination that takes out the under-23 men's coxed 8. Sydney University first. Second goes to UTS, Banks and Mercantile. Third on the inside will be that lane 8 crew, Adelaide, Toowong and Commercial, just ahead of lane 6, Melbourne University. And then the 2 crews in the centre lane, Sydney, the West Australian Rowing Club in 4, and also Adelaide, UQ and Sydney Uni lane 3.
Confirming the results of the under-23 men's coxed 8, a win for Sydney University Boat Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. In second place, UTS, Banks, Mercantile Composite and the Victorian Institute of Sport. In third, Adelaide, Toowong Commercial and the Queensland Academy of Sport Composite. In fourth, Melbourne University Boat Club. In fifth, Sydney Rowing Club, NSWIS. In sixth, the West Australian Composite. In seventh, the Adelaide University Composite. Time for that race, 5 minutes 43.71 seconds, and the margins 2.57 and 8.74. Third place and bronze medalists, Mercantile Rowing Club and the Victorian Institute of Sport. Phoebe Wolfe, Michaela Ballas, India Mattox, Ellie Tomanovitz, Kirsty Green, Sky Frobel, Sophie Balson, Georgie Gleeson, Adelaide Chester. The crew was coached by Bridget Carlisle. Second place and silver medalists, Sydney University Boat Club. Jamie Ford, Jess Robinson, Amelia Johnson, Raquel Cuvas, Lauren Fornazaro, Ella Mentzines, Rachel Balcom, Dion Bettiger, their cox, Talia Barnett-Heppels. The crew was coached by Alfie Young. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, the West Australian Composite. supported by the QAS and the West Australian Institute of Sport. Tyler Ferris from the University of Queensland Boat Club. Miller Ferris from the University of Queensland Boat Club. And Clara Jansen from the University of Queensland Boat Club. Georgia Patton from West Australian Rowing Club. Bronwyn Cox from the University of WA Boat Club. Kate Rowan from the University of Queensland Boat Club. Eloise Parker from the University of Queensland Boat Club. Ellen Pozzi from the University of Queensland Boat Club. Their cox, Caitlin Hawkins. The crew was coached by Ben Southwell, Zoltan Shepherd and Michael Russell. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate our 2018 Australian champions and medalists in the under-23 women's coxed 8. Third place and bronze medalists, Adelaide University Boat Club. Celia Cowan. Talila McCarthy. Georgia Mee. Peter Terrell. The crew was coached by Brenton Terrell and Phil Blessing. Second place and silver medalists, Team Japan. Marin Kawamura. Kyoko Matsuda. Rena Suzuki. Yui Nishida. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Sydney Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Romola Davenport. Lauren Lyon. Crystal Piper. Harriet Hudson. The crew was coached by Lachlan Carter, Jason Baker and Donovan Check. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists in the under-21 women's quad scull. Third place and bronze medalists, the Adelaide and Queensland Academy of Sport Composite. Morgan Apel from Toowong. Jack Deans from Adelaide Rowing Club. Kane Grant from Adelaide Rowing Club. Matthew Stamatis from Adelaide Rowing Club. Elliot Apel from Toowong Rowing Club. Adam Backer from Commercial. Nick Pettigrew from Toowong. Tim Santin from Adelaide Rowing Club. And their cox, Georgia Litt. The crew was coached by Kieran Dwyer, Ben Southwell and Ron Mobbs. Second place and silver medalists, the UTS and Victorian Institute of Sport Composite. Angus Maloney from Mercantile Rowing Club. Jack Wheeler from Banks Rowing Club. Zach Whitehead from UTS Haberfield Rowing Club. Alexander Clark from Mercantile. Nick Lavery from UTS. Paddy Holt from UTS. Benjamin Canham from Mercantile Rowing Club. Zach Von Appen from UTS. The crew was coxed by James Rook from Mercantile and coached by Tim McLaren, David Pincus and Alex Field. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Sydney University Boat Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Matthew Murray. Devlin Walsh. Leon Chambers. Morgan Brooking. Marcus Britt. Will O'Shannessy. Andrew Judge. Jack O'Brien. The crew was coxed by Danny Pettit. And the crew was coached by Don McLaughlin and Dustin Butler. The Australian Federation of Old Oarsmen Trophy will now be presented by John Boltby to Sydney University Boat Club. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists in the under-23 men's coxed 8.
While that presentation was taking place,
Sydney University Boat Club and Toowong. Some of these scullers are from the National Training Centre and others from the New South Wales Institute of Sport. In lane 3, a composite from Huon, Mersey and Ulverstone. Again, some members from the National Training Centres, others from the Tasmanian Institute of Sport. In lane 4, Team Indonesia. In lane 5, a composite from West Australian, the University of Western Australia, Sydney University Boat Club and Griffith Uni Surfers Paradise. In lane 6, a composite from Mercantile, Corio Bay and Banks. And in lane 7, Team Vietnam.
Attention.
and we are just underway now in the open lightweight women's quad scull. The Huon composite crew, the winners last year. There's similar combination racing here in lane 3 from a variety of Tasmanian clubs, Huon, Mersey and also Ulverston. A quick start on the camera side of the course from Team Vietnam in lane 7. They've really got their boat out and moving quickly, as have the UTS composite crew over on the far side of the course. So the extremities leading in the early stages of the open lightweight women's quad scull. Of course, a straight finalist event, so there's been no heats, no semi-finals to sort these crews out into a seated order. They could be all over the place, and they are at the moment. Lane 7, Team Vietnam And lane 2, the UTS Sydney University and Toowong Rowing Club composite crew from both Sydney and Brisbane would be sitting in second place. And you would expect that UTS composite combination to be right in contention for this race. 3/4 of the New South Wales lightweight women's quad scull who will race the interstate regatta are in that crew. But on screen there, it's Team Vietnam, the combination of Nguyen Lam Ki Diem, Leong Thi Tao, Ho Thi Lai and Tartan Hewen, who've had a number of races over the 6 days so far of the 2018 Aon Sydney International Rowing Regatta. And slowing, no signs of slowing down here. The Team Vietnam crew still up there with the top two, maybe half a canvas or so behind our race leaders now from UTS, Sydney Uni and Toowong over the far side as that predominantly NTC-based crew starts to make their impression as they approach the 500 metre mark in this open lightweight women's quad scull race. So as they go through 500 metres, it is UTS first in 1:39.56, and they've taken that lead out to just over a second, 1.14 seconds from Team Vietnam in second place. Back behind them, that Tasmanian composite crew, the Huon composite crew in lane 3. Huon, Mersey and Ulverston sit third. Then the West Australian Rowing Club composite crew. Again, a 3-state combination there. In fact, West Australian Rowing Club, University of Western Australia, Sydney Uni and Griffith University Surfers Paradise all in that 4th placed crew after the first 500 metres of the race. Then it was Team Indonesia, the second of our international visitors in this race, and back in 6th place, the Victorian composite crew, Mercantile, Corio Bay and Banks would be there in 6th position. Now the crew on the far side of the course, the UTS Sydney Uni and Toowong composite combination. Sophie Gerapetritis of the University of Technology, Sydney, Amy James from Toowong, Georgia Mansaro of Sydney University and Sarah Pound of the University of Technology, Sydney. A very well-credentialed crew. A successful week already. Sarah Pound, the winner of the lightweight women's singles scull, ahead of Amy James in second place. They combined to take out the lightweight women's double scull. And as you'd expect, that New South Wales, or predominantly New South Wales crew over from the far side, 3/4 of the New South Wales lightweight women's quad scull is extending their lead now over Team Vietnam. Amy James and Georgia Mansaro in that crew combined for a World Championship silver medal last year. Georgia Mansaro has a collection, in fact, of several World Championship medals over the course of her career so far, and looking very well placed to add a gold medal here as they go through in first place. UTS composite now out to 4.37 seconds over Team Vietnam, still doing a good job holding on in second place. And third behind them, still that all Tasmanian composite combination. I assume that's likely to be the Tasmanian lightweight women's quad scull who will race tomorrow in the interstate regatta. Kate Hall from Ulverston, Hannah Tippett of Mersey, Eve Muir from Huon and Georgia Nesbitt also from the Huon Rowing Club, coached by Paul Newbon, that Tasmanian combination, and they're in third place, about half a length behind Team Vietnam and a bit over half a length away from the predominantly West Australian composite crew in fourth. Includes Gemma Dane from Griffith University Surfers Paradise, Lizzie Trelaw from Sydney University, Alexander Nadoba from University of Western Australia Boat Club, and Susanna Gravestock of the West Australian Rowing Club. So well past halfway now and on towards the final 650 metres or so of this race, and still over the far side, almost with the race to themselves. Clear water behind them, you can see the UTS Sydney University and Toowong composite crew over there in lane 2, with Team Vietnam still their closest challengers, closest to the grandstand in lane 7. As you can see there, the 4-club composite combination, University of Technology Sydney, Sydney Uni, 2 rowers from UTS, in fact, and also Amy James, of course, there in the colours of the Toowong Rowing Club from Queensland. So UTS composite through 1500, comfortably clear, 8.62 seconds now over the Huon composite crew, lane 3, who look to have moved up into second place. Just over a second they've got on Team Vietnam, who might be tiring slightly after their very quick start to this race on the grandstand side of the course. But those two look set to fight out the silver and bronze medals here. Huon composite in lane 3 and Team Vietnam lane 7. And then fourth place Looks like it's the lane 5 combination still, those that the West Australian Rowing Club composite crew, along with the University of Western Australia, Sydney Uni and Griffith University Surfers Paradise as well. And then it would be Team Indonesia, lane 4 in 5th place, and the Mercantile, Corio Bay and Banks combination from Victoria well back in 6th. But as you'd expect, the predominantly NTC-based crew out in lane 2, a number of World Championship medalists in that boat. A number of medals also from this week's regatta so far. About to add another gold to their collection are Sophie Gerapatridis of the University of Technology Sydney, Amy James of Toowong, Georgia Mansaro of Sydney University Boat Club, and Sarah Pound of the University of Technology Sydney. It is the UTS composite crew very comfortably clear with just a few strokes to go now. Huon composite over the far side in the yellow boat, and the blue boat of Team Vietnam on this side fighting out for silver and bronze ahead of the West Australian Rowing Club. But it is the UTS composite crew that wins the open lightweight women's quad scull. Very, very comfortably clear. They're across the line now to take the gold medal, and silver will go to the crew beside them in lane 3. Huon, Mersey and Ulverston second. Third goes to Team Vietnam. 4th place will be the crew in lane 5, the West Australian Rowing Club composite crew. Team Indonesia takes out 5th, and Mercantile Composite will be 6th in the final of the open lightweight women's quad scull.
Confirming the results of race number 391, the final of the open lightweight women's quadruple scull. In first position, the UTS composite. In second, the Huon composite. In third, the West Australian composite. In fourth, the Mercantile composite. In fifth, Team Indonesia. Moving to the open lightweight men's quad scull final. In lane 3, a composite. University of Queensland and the Queensland Academy of Sport. In lane 4, the Buckingham composite from the Tasmanian Institute of Sport. In lane 5, Mercantile, and in lane 6, UTS and the New South Wales Institute of Sport.
And they're underway in the final of the open lightweight men's quad scull. A field of just 4 in this race, so again a straight final. And the 4 crews on their way through the first 100 metres now. Once again, we see the two crews on either side of the course get away to the quickest of starts. The Toowong Composite QAS crew in lane 3 and the University of Technology New South Wales Institute of Sport crew in lane 6. Already opening up a margin back on the two crews in the centre lanes. Lane 4 is an all-Tasmanian composite crew, Buckingham, New Norfolk, North Esk and Tamar. And lane 5, the Mercantile and National Training Centre combination as well there, racing in lane 5. So Toowong Composite in 3, Toowong, Swan River and Canberra. And the crew all from the University of Technology Sydney racing in lane 6 are closest to the camera. But it is the Toowong QAS crew over the far side who've taken out probably a third of a length already in the opening exchanges of this race. And the University of Technology Sydney have also put some distance back on the remaining two crews in this race, the Tasmanian composite combination, Buckingham, New Norfolk, North Esk and Tamar, and of course Mercantile there in lane 5 as well. It is the Queensland crew over there in lane 3. It's actually the University of Queensland scar. Looks like Blaine Heseltine to me in the stroke seat of that crew, so possibly not quite as per the program. Just seeking confirmation now, but it's certainly a composite crew from the University of Queensland and a couple of other clubs around the country too. It seems they're spread far and wide in this one, and the official list is in fact Blaine Heseltine of University of Queensland Boat Club in the stroke seat, Jack Price of Toowong behind him, Hamish Parry of Toowong is also there in the 2 seat, and Thomas Perry of Canberra in the bow of that leading crew over in lane 3. So it's University of Queensland, Toowong and Canberra, in fact, the composite crew in lane 3, and they are out to a pretty commanding lead, about 1 1/4 seconds at least over University of Technology Sydney in second place. That's the combination as per the program of James Waldersea, Roderick Chisholm, Matthew Curtin, James Shooter, coached by Tim McLaren, Alex Field and David Geely. You can see now that Queensland composite combination, well predominantly Queensland with one rower from the ACT there in the bow seat, have almost a length on University of Technology Sydney in second place. And then the two crews in the centre lane, the Tasmanian composite combination, Buckingham, New Norfolk, North Esk and Tamar ahead of Mercantile. The Tasmanian crew made up of Oliver Marsden from Tamar, Connor Ryan of North Esk, Matthew Byrne from New Norfolk and Alec Patterson from the Buckingham Rowing Club. They're coached by Brett Crow. And they're certainly a clear third now with 1,000 metres gone. Our very comfortable race winners, just over 3 minutes, 3:00.20 the time for University of Queensland, Toowong and Canberra to the 1,000 metre mark. Thomas Perry, Hamish Parry, Jack Price and Blaine Heseltine. So a couple of substitutions into that crew. They're coached by Kiwi Dwyer and Ben Southwell, and they do continue to comfortably lead this race. Just over 2 seconds it was after 1,000 metres from UTS in second position, closest to the camera. That's James Waldersea, Roderick Chisholm, Matthew Curtin, James Shooter, coached by Tim McLaren, Alex Field and David Geely. The longer this race goes on, the better that Tasmanian crew starts to look. They are very close to moving up into second spot now. Oliver Marsden, Connor Ryan, Matthew Byrne and Alec Patterson. They were down by a bit over a second at the halfway mark, but they've certainly closed that gap up now as they approach the 1,500 metre mark. And the only crew out of the medals at this stage with just 4 entrants in the open lot and men's quad scull is the crew from Mercantile, lane 5. Carl Tomchak, William Legg, Jaden Gray and Michael McNamara, coached by Simon Gadsden and David Colvin. So through with 500 metres to race, and it is the University of Queensland composite crew. Blaine Heseltine in the stroke seat ahead of Jack Price, Hamish Parry and Thomas Perry. And they've got a length and a quarter or so, 3.37 seconds in fact, on the University of Technology Sydney, who were just second by a quarter of a second at 1,500, but they are almost dead level now with the Buckingham composite crew. Couple of lanes across in lane 4, and then over 6 seconds back to Mercantile in third place. So you'd think University of Queensland for the gold medal here, and Mercantile almost certain to finish 4th, but the race for 2nd and 3rd remains very interesting now with just under 300 metres to race. Still University of Queensland, Toowong and Canberra over the far side. They've led this race right from the start. University of Technology Sydney fighting back. They've got their boat now a quarter of a length or so back ahead of the Buckingham, New Norfolk, North Esk and Tamar composite combination. Look like they are trying to reel in our race leaders. Have a look at the pace in that UTS crew now, closest to the grandstand side of the course. They are doing their best to hold off the Tasmanians, who are still back there in third place, but University of Queensland, Toowong and Canberra continue to lead as these 4 open lightweight men's quad sculls approach the finish line now. Our leaders go inside the red boys with less than 100 metres to race, and it looks like it will be University of Queensland, Toowong and Canberra. UTS coming home quickly, but a bit too far back to make a difference at this stage. It will be lane 3 that gets the win. University of Queensland, Toowong and Canberra by a length from the University of Technology Sydney, almost a length in the end to Buckingham, New Norfolk, North Esk and Tamar in third place, and fourth goes to lane 5, the crew from the Mercantile Rowing Club.
Confirming the results of the final of the Open Lightweight Men's Quad Scull. It was a win for the University of Queensland Composite. In second, UTS. In third, the Buckingham Composite. In fourth, Mercantile. The presentation of medals for the Open Lightweight Women's Quad Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Craig James, OAM, Counsellor, Rowing Western Australia. Third place and bronze medalists, Team Vietnam. Nguyen Lam Q Diem. Luong T Tao. Ho T Lee. Ta Tan Huyen. Second place and silver medalists. The Huon Composite from the NTC and the Tasmanian Institute of Sport. Kate Hall from Ulverston. Hannah Tippett from Mersey. Eve Muir from Huon. Georgia Nesbitt from Huon. The crew is coached by Paul Newbon. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, the UTS Composite, New South Wales Institute of Sport and NTC. Sophie Gerapetritis from UTS. Amy James from Toowong. Georgia Mansaro from Sydney University Boat Club. Sarah Pound from UTS. The crew is coached by David Geely, Alex Field and Alfie Young. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists in the Open Lightweight Women's Quad Scull. Western Australia. Third place and bronze medalists representing Buckingham, New Norfolk, New Esk, Tamar and the Tasmanian Institute of Sport. Oliver Marsden from Tamar. Connor Ryan from North Esk. Matthew Byrne from New Norfolk, and Alec Patterson from Buckingham Rowing Club. The crew was coached by Brett Crowe, head coach at the Tasmanian Institute of Sport. Second place and silver medalists, UTS Rowing Club and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. James Waldersea, Rod Chisholm, Matthew Curtin, James Shooter. The crew is coached by Tim McLaren, Alex Field and David Geely. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018. The Queensland Composite and Queensland Academy of Sport. Tom Perry from Canberra. Hamish Parry from Toowong. Jack Price from Toowong. Blaine Heseltine from the University of Queensland Boat Club. The crew is coached by Kieran Dwyer and Ben Southwell. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists in the open lightweight men's quad scull. And Toowong, not surprisingly, most athletes from the National Training Centre. And in lane 6, Mercantile Rowing Club with VIS and NTC scholars. And in lane 7, our final composite from UTS, West Australian Rowing Club, the University of WA, Sydney University and the University of Queensland, supported by WACE and the QAS.
Sydney Uni Composite, Loreto Composite, Melbourne Uni, Fremantle Composite, Mercantile, UTS Composite, attention.
Great shots from the start of the Open Women's Coxed 8, racing for the Florence Eaton Trophy, and a field stacked with Australian athletes here across several crews, so expecting a great race in the Open Women's Coxed 8. They're underway now. The closest crew to the camera there is the University of Technology Sydney, West Australian, University of WA, Sydney Uni and University of Queensland crew as well. As we across the field, beside them is Mercantile in 6 and Fremantle in 5, Melbourne Uni in 4, Loreto Old Scholars, Adelaide Uni, Adelaide, Port Adelaide in 3, and right across on the far side, a well-credentialed crew from Sydney Uni, Griffith Uni, Surfers Paradise, and also the Victorian Institute of Sport. That crew on the far side who's certainly got away well. A couple of Australian athletes there in Georgina Gotch, Rowena Meredith and Genevieve Thornton. Also Sally Keogh returning to competitive rowing to the Sydney University Boat Club, racing in that crew over on the far side of the course. Sally Keogh, a triple Olympian, rode the single scull for Australia with many years, making a return to the sport over there in lane 2. But the crew at this stage, who've got out best of all, looks to be the one in the lane 5 there on screen. Fremantle, Tamar, UTS, Adelaide, Commercial, Banks and Toowong. Seven clubs in the one crew there. Quite the mouthful, the Fremantle Composite and National Training Centre combination. And they would be our race leaders there, lane 5. Madeline Coonan of Toowong, Rosie Popper of Banks, Jacinta Edmonds and Maddie Edmonds, the Edmonds sisters racing together in that crew. Molly Goodman of course, rode with Maddie Edmonds yesterday in winning the double scull. Georgia Rowe of UTS, Fiona Wilson of Tamar, Annabelle McIntyre of Fremantle, Rebecca Harrison, the cox, Alex Field, the coach of that lane 5 crew. Possibly a couple of these crews, not quite as per the program as a rower from the Adelaide Rowing Club in the stroke seat of that combination, but it certainly is lane 5 in any case. The Fremantle composite crew who leads through the first 500 metres, almost 2.5 seconds they had over Mercantile and the NTC and VIS in lane 6, and then it was UTS composite lane 7, so the 3 crews now on the grandstand side, the 3 crews closest to the camera leading this race. Lane 2 over the far side, Sydney Uni composite, then Melbourne Uni in lane 4, and Loretto Old Scholars and Community Rowing Club composite lane 3, with Olympia Aldersea from the NTC in that crew as well, if my program is correct. But the lane 5 combination in any case is comfortably out in front of this race now. They had almost exactly a length at the 500 metre mark, and it's close to 2 lengths at halfway. 5.26 seconds. The Fremantle composite crew leads from Mercantile in second place, and the UTS composite combination closest to the camera there, probably narrowly in third, although right over on the far side too, Sydney Uni and Griffith University Surfers Paradise are having a good race as well. But at this stage it looks like they're racing for the silver and bronze medals with this Fremantle composite and National Training Centre combination well clear, almost a couple of lengths on Mercantile, who is still looking to hold on to second place. Entire crew from the Mercantile Rowing Club in Melbourne: Fiona Albert, Olivia Sibillan, Sophie Balson, Madeline Thomas, Amanda Bateman, Jess Morrison, Addie Dunkley-Smith and Katrina Werry, coxed by Adelaide Chester, coached by Simon Gadsden and Bridget Carlisle. A couple of members of the Australian Women's 8 squad in that Mercantile crew as well. Addie Dunkley-Smith and Katrina Werry in the stern pair of that boat. So the national athletes spread out across multiple crews in this race. But it still continues to be lane 5 Fremantle composite from lane 6 Mercantile. Lane 7 the UTS composite combination, and lane 2 Sydney Uni composite right over on the far side of the course. As the corrected crews have now officially come through, I can tell you it is our leading crew: Madeline Coonan of Toowong, Rosie Popper of Banks, Jacinta Edmonds of Commercial, Maddie Edmonds of Commercial, Molly Goodman of Adelaide, Georgia Rowe of UTS, and Fiona Wilson of Tamar, Annabelle McIntyre of Fremantle, and Rebecca Harrison in the cox seat of our leading crew, the Fremantle, Tamar, UTS, Adelaide, Commercial, Banks and Toowong combination. 7 clubs from 5 states, it seems, right across the country in this leading crew. The Fremantle Composite 8 have gone out to 6.66 seconds now over Mercantile in second place. And the correct Mercantile crew, in fact, is Olivia Sibillan, Georgie Gleeson, Sophie Balson, Madeline Thomas, Amanda Bateman, Jess Morrison, Addie Dunkley-Smith, Katrina Werry and Adelaide Chester in the cox seat. Still holding on to second place, Mercantile, by just over 2 seconds from UTS and University of Western Australia, West Australian Boat Club, Sydney Uni, University of Queensland, all on the crew closest to the grandstand side. Still there just in third, ahead of Sydney Uni and Griffith University Surfers Paradise, right over on the far side of the course. So it still would be our Fremantle Composite NTC crew very, very comfortably in front. The blue boat of Mercantile is narrowly second still over the yellow boat of UTS Composite on the grandstand side, and right over on the far side of the course, Sydney Uni Composite with a little bit of work to do to get up into a medal position ahead of Melbourne Uni and also Loretto Old Scholars. But it's lane 5 who'll get the win. Fremantle, Tamar, UTS, Adelaide, Commercial, Banks and Toowong, all in that winning crew as they go across and take out the Open Women's Cox Day to win the Florence Eaton Trophy. Lane 5 gets the win. Lane 6 will finish second, just Mercantile on a quick finish over UTS Composite, lane 7, and also lane 2, Sydney Uni just missing out back in 4th spot, the Sydney Uni Composite crew. Then it's lane 4, the crew from Melbourne University, and lane 3, Loretto Old Scholars, will finish in 6th place in the final of the Open Women's Cox Day.
Just recapping then, the win in the Open Women's Coxed 8 went to the Fremantle Composite. In second, the Mercantile NTC VIS Composite. And in third, the UTS West Australia Institute of Sport and Queensland Academy of Sport Composite. In fourth, the Sydney University Griffith University Surfers Paradise Composite. In fifth, Melbourne University. And in sixth, the Loreto Old Scholars and Community and Adelaide Composite. Time for that final 6 minutes, 8.73 seconds. The margins 8.16 and 1.27. And just to call out, we've had word for, especially for the lightweights, you'll be very excited. Chobani are here, and they will be handing out free yogurt samples in the Regatta Village for the next hour. So if you're a lightweight, get on down to the Regatta Village. Chobani are in the house. So we have the Open Men's Coxed 4 final on the start. In lane 3, a crew from Adelaide University and Adelaide Rowing Clubs. In lane 4, a crew from Sydney Rowing Club and the National Training Centre. In lane 5 crew has scratched, lane 6 crew has scratched, and in lane 7 a composite from Cand and the University of Queensland.
Adelaide University, Adelaide, Sydney, Cand, Uni, Queensland. Attention.
So what we have in lane 3 is a composite of Jack Courts from Adelaide Rowing Club, Matthew Stamatis and Drew Clements, also of Adelaide Rowing Club, and Hugo Langsford in the stroke seed. He's from Adelaide University. Georgia Litt, the Cox, fresh from the podium, back out there again trying to win another one. In lane 4, we have a crew from Sydney Rowing Club comprising Nathan Bowden and Josh Hicks, both of whom are at the National Training Centre, William O'Connell and Charlie Patterson, who are both very promising under-23s. They are being coxed by Kendall Brodie, who has just been selected as the national team cox for the Australian men's 8. Then in lane 7, we have a crew of Jonathan Condon and Darcy McCluskey of the University of Queensland Boat Club, with Logan Ulrich and Miller Rowe of Cand Rowing Club, coxed by Isaac Schmidt.
So in this Open Men's Cox 4 final, University of Adelaide Composite in lane 3, Sydney from the NTC in 4, and the Cand Composite in lane 7 on this near side of the course. And you can see it's Sydney after the first 500 with a time of 1:35.22 in the lead from the Adelaide University and Adelaide composite crew. And then Cairns and the Uni of Queensland back in third at the moment. That leading crew from Sydney, of course, it has Nathan Bowden and Josh Hicks, who are part of the National Training Centre. And the cox Kendall Brodie is the cox of the Australian men's 8 crew. There's the crew currently in second, the Adelaide University composite. Corks from Adelaide, Stamatis from Adelaide, Clements from Adelaide, and Hugo Langsford from Adelaide University, coxed by Georgia Litt, coached by Jason Lane, Brenton Terrell and Darren Potts. And then the Cairns composite, Cairns and Uni of Queensland composite in lane 7, Jonathan Condon, Darcy McCluskey, Logan Ulrich and Miller Rowe, coxed by Isaac Schmidt and coached by Scott Rowe and Zoltan Shepherd. So they're in third currently after about 750 metres as they close in on that 1K. Sydney from Adelaide University and Adelaide, and Cairns and the University of Queensland in third. So there's that Sydney crew looking to make it 2 from 2 in the last 2 years in the Open Men's Coxed 4. And they go through the 1K, Sydney with a time of 3:12.67, and they've increased the advantage back to Adelaide and Adelaide Uni, 4.5 seconds further back, and then Cairns and the Uni of Queensland in third, currently 5.38 seconds back. So it's fairly clear cut between all 3 crews in this one. A reminder that it'll just be gold and silver handed out with only 3 crews in the race. As Sydney passed the 1,250 metre mark and the 4-minute mark of the race ticks by. Nathan Bowden, Joshua Hicks, William O'Connell and Charlie Patterson, coxed by Kendall Brodie, coached by Jonathan Seck, Jason Baker and Lachlan Carter. That crew in the lead, and they're increasing their advantage stroke on stroke, and they are very quickly closing in on the 1,500 metre mark. We'll get another time check. Adelaide University composite consolidating their spot in second. You can see Jack Corks, Matthew Stamatis, Drew Clements and Hugo Langsford in that boat. Hugo Langsford in the bow seat. Georgia Litt the cox. So the 3 Adelaide rowers in the stroke and 2 and 3 seats. There's the 1,500 metre mark, and there are the splits. So 450.38, the Sydney and NTC crew. Adelaide and Adelaide University composite, they're 6.73 seconds further back now, and Cairns and the Uni of Queensland, they're back in third. So it seems to be gold and silver to Sydney and Adelaide Uni and Adelaide. So 300 metres to travel for that Sydney crew out in front. Make that 250 now as they're inside that last 250 of the race. There's a lift you can see on the far side from the Adelaide Uni and Adelaide composite crew. They're trying as hard as they possibly can to make an inroad, make a dent into that lead that Sydney have, but it's going to be to no avail. There's also a lift from the near side crew, and that is the Cairns composite, Cairns and the University of Queensland. But the gap is too great, and I think the silver medal is slipping away. And it will be Adelaide and the University of Adelaide to claim the silver. But out in front, they've been superb, Sydney Rowing Club, and they will claim gold in a canter in the end with a couple of strokes. And it will be Bowden, Hicks, O'Connell and Patterson, coxed by Brodie, who claim gold for Sydney Rowing Club. And silver will go to South Australia. Hugo Langsford in the bow seat with Drew Clements, Matthew Stamatis and Jack Corks. And then the crew from Queensland, the Cairns Uni of Queensland crew, who finish in third.
Confirming the results of our Open Men's Coxed 4 event, a win for Sydney Rowing Club and the National Training Centre. Second, the Adelaide University Adelaide Rowing Club Composite, and third, the Cand and University of Queensland Composite. Time for that race, 7 minutes 27 seconds. The medalists, the UTS, West Australian Institute of Sport and Queensland Academy of Sport Composite. Eloise Parker from the University of Queensland Boat Club. Kate Rowan from the University of Queensland Boat Club. Ellen Pozzi from the University of Queensland Boat Club. Lauren Fonazaro from Sydney University Boat Club. Dion Betker from Sydney University Boat Club. Bronwyn Cox from the University of WA Boat Club. Georgia Patton from the University of WA Boat Club. And Emma Fessy from UTS. The cox was Caitlin Hockings, the coaches David Geely, Dustin Butler and Ben Southwell. Second place and silver medalists, Mercantile Rowing Club, the NTC and the Victorian Institute of Sport. Olivia Sibyllin. Georgie Gleeson. Sophie Balson. Madeline Thomas. Amanda Bateman. Jess Morrison. Addie Dunkley-Smith. Katrina Werry. Their cox, Adelaide Chester. Apologies, James Rook. The coaches, Simon Gadsden and Bridget Carlisle. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, the Fremantle National Training Centre Composite. Madeline Coonan from Toowong. Rosie Popper from Banks. Jacinta Edmonds from Commercial. Maddie Edmonds from Commercial. Molly Goodman from Adelaide Rowing Club. Georgie Rowe from UTS Rowing Club. Siona Wilson from Tamar. Annabelle McIntyre from Fremantle Rowing Club. Their cox, Rebecca Harrison from UTS. The crew was coached by Alex Field. The Florence Eaton Trophy will now be presented by Bernard Savage. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists in the Open Women's Coxed 8. Third place and bronze medalists, the composite of Cand Rowing Club and the University of Queensland Boat Club. Jonathan Condon from the University of Queensland Boat Club. Darcy McCluskey from the University of Queensland Boat Club. Logan Ulrich from Canned Rowing Club. Miller Rowe from Canned Rowing Club. Their cox, Isaac Schmidt from Canned Rowing Club. The crew was coached by Scott Rowe and Zoltan Shepherd. Second place and silver medalists, the Adelaide University Boat Club and Adelaide Rowing Club Composite. Jack Courts from Adelaide Rowing Club. Matthew Stamatis, Adelaide Rowing Club. Drew Clements, Adelaide Rowing Club. Hugo Langsford, Adelaide University Boat Club. Georgia Litt, Adelaide University Boat Club. The crew was coached by Jason Lane, Brenton Terrell and Darren Potts. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Sydney Rowing Club. Nathan Bowden. Joshua Hicks. William O'Connell. Charlie Patterson. And their cox, Kendall Brody. The crew was coached by Donovan Check, Jason Baker and Lachlan Carter. Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists in the men's coxed four.
Moment where we've got the right of screen in lane number 6, the University of Queensland and the Queensland Academy of Sport, Zoe Alcorn, Maria Tomasini, Madeline Williams and Portia Bennett, coached by Michael Russell and Ben Southwell. And in the centre of the screen, or towards the centre of the screen in lane 5, ANU and the ACT Pathways Program, Sarah Larkin, Jessica Brady, Bianca Gillett and Jilly Roberts, coached by Renee Domashens. Next crew further across, Sydney University, UTS and Adelaide, Rosie Beasley, Georgina Masters, Verena Zilm and Wallace Russell. And over on the far side, at the top of the screen, Michaela Franz from Sydney University, Sophia Neri of Adelaide, Lizzie Trelaw of Sydney University and Alexandra Utley of the University of Western Australia. They're coached by Debbie Fox, Ron Mobbs and Brenton Terrell.
University of Queensland, attention.
So we can see the crews just starting in the under-23 lightweight women's quadruple scull, but at the head of the course currently is the schoolgirls coxed 8, the second repechage, and this is going to be very tight as it was the first one. So PLC Perth in lane 3, Friends in 4, and St Catherine's School from Victoria. They are in lane 6, so it's between those three boats at the head of the field. PLC Perth and Friends ahead, and St Catherine's School from Victoria with some work to do as they enter the final 100 metres now. So maybe just Friends who are ahead currently of PLC Perth. It was PLC Perth who led at the 1,500 metre mark, but it is Friends who are just ahead now. And it is Melbourne Girls Grammar, I should say, who are in third. And it's just going to be a bridge too far for Melbourne Girls Grammar to pull back PLC Perth. So it's Friends in first, and in second place it is Friends from PLC Perth. Melbourne Girls Grammar just miss out on the unofficial times. Fourth place will go the way of Pymble Ladies, followed closely behind by St Catherine's School Victoria. And then over in lane 2 is the MLC School, who will round out this field.
Unofficial results: Schoolgirl 8, Repecharge 2, first Friends, second PLC Perth. Melbourne Girls Grammar School were third, and they'll be eliminated. Friends and PLC Perth going through. Fourth Pymble Ladies, fifth St Catherine's, sixth MLC School, and unofficial time a 6:51.72. As we go back to the race on the course, the under-23 lightweight women's quad scull, where through the first 500 it was Sydney University composite crew that was leading.
Yeah, so after the first 500, as Owen just said, the Sydney Uni composite crew, they have 3/4 of the under-23 Australian quad that placed 6th last year in the World Championships in Sarasota. And you can see them out in front in lane number 4. Rosie Beasley, she's the only member of that crew from UTS that wasn't in the Australian crew last year. Maddie Williams, who was in that crew, she's in lane 6 with the University of Queensland and the Queensland Academy of Sport. So in that lead boat, they now have increased that lead up to 3.5 seconds. Is Rosie Beasley, Georgina Masters, Verena Zilm and Wallace Russell. ANU in second, 3.5 seconds further back, and then University of WA composite, and then the University of Queensland in 4th place currently. And in that crew at the head of the race, you can see Verena Zilm and Wallace Russell. Wallace Russell from the Sydney University Boat Club. She won the single in this event, the under-23 women's single, and Verena Zilm finished in 2nd place. The under-23 lightweight women's single scull. So it was Wallace Russell who just edged out Verena Zilm. That required a photo. You can see Wallace Russell in the stroke, Verena Zilm in 3 seat, just behind her in the boat. And then in bow and 2 seat is Georgina Masters and Rosie Beasley. And they are looking strong at the moment, the Sydney University composite crew. It was the Sydney Uni composite who won last year, and I can tell you that that was the crew that ended up going to the under-23 World Championships. That was the crew of Masters Zilm, Wallace Russell and Maddie Williams, who won gold last year. And Maddie Williams' boat is currently sitting in 4th place, just out of the running currently. So it's Sydney Uni composite in 1st, ANU 2nd, Uni of WA composite still in 3rd. So as they have been throughout the race, the positions are the same. And still it's that Sydney composite looking strong with about 300 metres to travel. So the ANU crew in 2nd place as Sarah Larkin, Jessica Brady, Bianca Gillard and Julie Roberts. They are coached by Renee Domashens. And Uni of WA with Michaelia Franz, Sophia Neri, Lizzie Trelaw and Alexandra Utley. They are in the bronze medal position as it stands. Sydney Uni Composite, they won this event, as I said, last year with 3/4 of the same crew in the boat this year. We'll see if they can go back-to-back. It's looking very likely at this point. ANU 2nd, University of WA still in 3rd. Can they make a late move? It looks as though it's fairly settled at the moment, all the positions. The Uni of Queensland boat is looking a little more fluent now. They're still back in 4th. But it's the Sydney University composite crew who have been so dominant. And for the 2nd straight year, it's going to be Sydney University composite who win the under-23 lightweight women's quad scull. Success for Sydney Uni for the second year in a row. ANU in second, and in third place, it is the University of WA Composite. Uni of Queensland, they'll just be edged out and finish in fourth.
Official results for the under-23 lightweight women's quadruple scull. First, Sydney University, Adelaide, UTS, New South Wales Institute of Sport and South Australian Sports Institute. Second, Australian National University and the ACT Pathways Program. In third, University of Western Australia, Sydney University and Adelaide Rowing Club. And fourth, University of Queensland and the Queensland Academy of Sport. Unofficial time 6:47.15 and margins 5.15, 5.22 and 5.37. Race 408, the open lightweight men's coxless 4 for the Lucerne Cup. And we have in lane number 2, ANU Canberra. Lane number 3 at the top left of your screen, Team Indonesia, who took out the lightweight 8 yesterday in a great row. In lane number 4 on screen, we have UTS. Lane 5 is Mercantile, and Mercantile being represented by Carl Tomzak, Michael McNamara, Jaden Gray and William Legg. Lane number 6 is Team Indonesia, Adi Asadi, Iram, Ali Buton and Ferdiancia. And in lane number 7, Swan River Composite with Fremantle and the University of Western Australia, Cameron Fowler of Swan River, James Kerr of the University of Western Australia, Mario Lopresti of Fremantle and Perry Ward of Swan River. And the Western Australian Institute of Sport UTS Composite are a withdrawal out of lane number 8. So 6 crews contesting this open lightweight men's coxless 4 for the Lucerne Cup, which of course is a trophy to commemorate the win in the FISA Championships for the lightweight 4, which Australia won in 1974, so 44 years ago.
Swan River Composite. Attention.
So the crews are off in the open lightweight men's coxless 4 final. They'll be racing for the Lucerne Cup. The current holder is the University of WA Composite crew. Now the Swan River Composite in lane number 7. That boat has 3 of the 4 members that won it last year. James Kerr from University of WA, Mario Lopresti from Fremantle, and Perry Ward from Swan River Rowing Club. Cameron Fowler, he's the only member of that boat that wasn't in the boat last year. Tim Widdicombe was the other man in the boat. He's from Swan River Rowing Club as well. So that crew in lane 7, look out for them. But you can see in front currently is Team Indonesia. That's the Team Indonesia crew who are in lane 6. Interesting to look at here on the course, the ACT Penrith Cup crew in lane number 2. That has Nathan Kennedy, Hamish Harding, Tom Perry and William Clark. In that boat, in that particular boat. In lane number 5, Mercantile, that's the Victoria's Penrith Cup crew. And in lane 7, as I mentioned, just ran through that crew, that's the WA Penrith Cup crew. So the lightweight men's for tomorrow, that should be a cracking race, state versus state. So we see the 500-metre split times come through, and Team Indonesia are upstaging the local crews currently. Both those Team Indonesia crews are very much to look out for. They won the Open Lightweight 8 yesterday, all 8 members in this particular race. So 4 in the lane 6 crew, 4 in lane 3, and it's Team Indonesia leading by half a second from UTS, and then Swan River Composite, Mercantile in 4th, Team Indonesia's second crew in 5th, and then the ANU Canberra ACT crew in 6th position. But it's very tight at the 500-metre mark, as you would expect. So still leading them out is that Indonesian crew in lane 6, Adi Asada. Imram, he's in 2 seat. Ali Buton and Ferdian Sa in the stroke seat. So they lead from that Swan River Composite with 3 of the 4 members who won gold last year. Cameron Fowler is in bow. James Kerr in 2, Mario Lepresti in 3, and Perry Ward in 4 seat. And Team Indonesia, their second crew has now moved up into 3rd place. UTS in 4th, Mercantile 5th, ANU and Canberra in 6th, still almightily close. There's no one out of it as it stands currently. Good Team Indonesia proved to be party poopers again here for the local clubs. They're in the 2 of the 3 medal positions currently, and they are stroking superbly. You can just see moving up alongside them is that crew from Swan River, University of WA and Fremantle. And then it is the Team Indonesia crew on the far side, Tanzil Hadid, Jeffrey Ardianto Sawano, Muhad Yakin and Rio Rizky Darmawan. That's the lane 3 crew. So you can just see it's the Indonesia crew from lane 6, stroked by Ferdian Sa. They're leading currently from the WA Penrith Cup crew. They're now entering the final 500 metres, and it's Indonesia with the lead. The Team Indonesia crew with 1.37 seconds gap back to the Swan River Composite, and then Team Indonesia less than a second back, and the ANU Canberra ACT crew in last for much of the race in 6th place. They've all of a sudden moved up to 4th. That is how close it is. So across the course from the far side to the near side, it's the ANU Composite, Team Indonesia, UTS back, as is Mercantile, and then Team Indonesia in 6th leading the crews towards the last 200 metres, and then it's the Swan River Composite in lane 7. You sense it's between lane 6 and 7 at the moment as the WA crew look to make it back-to-back wins in the Open Lightweight Men's Coxless 4 in the quest for the Lucerne Cup. It's still Team Indonesia who are ahead. You can see the move from the far side. The Team Indonesia crew stroked by Darmawan. But it's Team Indonesia who lead by about half a boat length from the Swan River Composite crew. It's still Indonesia ahead. Can Swan River respond? It's going to be difficult from here. Team Indonesia still in 3rd place as well, but it's going to be gold. Is going to be heading to the international crew from Team Indonesia. They're too strong. They upstage the WA crew who claimed the gold last year. They'll have to settle for silver in 2018, and Team Indonesia also claim the bronze medal too. What a superb performance, Owen.
Yeah, certainly Team Indonesia doing the double, taking out the 8 and the lightweight 4 for the Lucerne Cup. So unofficial results. Team Indonesia first, Swan River, Fremantle, University of Western Australia placing 2nd. Team Indonesia out of lane number 3. That's the Rio Risky Damawan crew. They claim the bronze medal, 4th to ANU Canberra, 5th to Mercantile and 6th to UTS. Unofficial time 6:09.40 and margins 1.76, 1.25 and 6.22. Presentation of medals for the under-23 lightweight women's quadruple scull. And our presenter is the Honourable Patrick McNamara, Councillor of Rowing Victoria and former President of Rowing Australia. In third place and bronze medalists from the University of Western Australia, Sydney University and Adelaide Rowing Club, Michaela Franz of Sydney University. Sophia Neary of Adelaide Rowing Club. Lizzie Trelaw of Sydney University.
Oh, sorry, they are. Thanks, Ray.
And Alexandra Utley of the University of Western Australia Boat Club. A crew coached by Debbie Fox, Ron Mobbs and Brenton Terrell. Second place and silver medalists representing Australian National University Boat Club and the ACT Pathways program, crew of Sarah Larkin, Jessica Brady, Bianca Gillett, and Jilly Roberts. And coached by Renee Domashens. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018 is the Sydney University, Adelaide, UTS, New South Wales Institute of Sport, and the South Australian Sports Institute crew of Rosie Beasley of UTS, Georgina Masters of UTS, Lorraine Zilm of Adelaide Rowing Club, and Wallace Russell of Sydney University Boat Club. Our coaches Alfie Young, David Geely and Jason Lane. Please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists. On the course now, race 409, the Open Women's Quadruple Sculls, and the field that we have in lane 3, Hewen, Adelaide, Sydney University, that's Georgia Mann, Sarro, Molly Goodman, Sarah Hoare and Georgia Nesbitt. In lane 4, Swan River, Molly Booker, Caitlin McPhail, Cecilia Vellin and Adriana Maruli. In lane 5, Sydney, Adelaide, West Australian Rowing Club, Harriet Hudson, Hannah Vermeesh, Olympia Aldersey and Leah Saunders. And in lane 6, Mercantile and the Victorian Institute of Sport. The crew on screen, Olivia Sibillan, Madeline Thomas, Amanda Bateman and Rhea Thompson. and they're coached by Simon Gadsden. So they went through the 500 metre mark, and it was the Sydney Composite in lane 5, Hudson, Vermeesh, Aldersey and Saunders that led. And just 1.14 seconds from the crew on the far side, Huon Composite, Swan River in third, and Mercantile VIS having conceded over a length as they now make their way up towards the 1,000 metre mark.
You can see in the middle of the course, it is that Sydney Composite crew who have Harriet Hudson in bow from Sydney Rowing Club. She won the gold medal in this event last year in the Adelaide, Queensland and Swiss Composite crew. Hannah Vermeesh in 2 seats. She won silver last year in this event. Olympia Aldersey also is in the boat with Harriet Hudson winning gold. And Leah Saunders is stroking that boat, coached by Lachlan Carter, Jason Baker and Donovan Seck. So you'd expect with the amount of talent in that boat that they are ahead, but it is Huon Composite not too far behind. Georgia Miansaro, Molly Goodman, Sarah Hoare and Georgia Nesbitt in that Tasmanian boat, and Swan River in third, Mercantile in fourth, and the Uni of Queensland a late scratching from this event. So there's our leaders. The Sydney NTC Composite crew. It's Hannah Vermeesh in that particular boat who is in the bow seat. Just changed the order around a little bit. In the centre, you've got Saunders and Hudson, and then Olympia Aldersey, who is in stroke, but they've been overtaken by the Huon Composite crew. As Miansaro from Sydney Uni Boat Club, Molly Goodman from Adelaide, and then Sarah Hoare and Georgia Nesbitt, who just slowly but surely increasing that advantage. So it was 0.18 at the 1K. Swan River and Mercantile, they will be fighting it out for the minor medals. At the moment, it's the front two of Huon Composite and the Sydney Composite crew, also part of the National Training Centre, both of those boats. Sydney Composite attached with the N-Swiss program too. You can see that Huon Composite, it's Miansaro in bow. Molly Goodman is in 3 seat from Adelaide, and then Sarah Hoare and Georgia Nesbitt in stroke and 2 seats. And they're still holding an advantage over the Sydney Composite crew. And look at the lead now. It's out to almost a boat length. So it was Sydney Composite leading for the best part of the opening K. And now it's the Tasmanian crew with half the Tasmanian crew. Goodman from South Australia and Miansaro from Sydney Uni Boat Club. So they lead by almost 2.5 seconds at the 1,500 metre mark. And it's those two who are gunning for the gold medal. Third place, the third place and bronze medal is a battle between Swan River and Mercantile. And it's Swan River who are just winning it currently, but it's less than a second. So very tight. So is there going to be a response from the Sydney Composite crew? So it's still Huon holding off the Sydney Composite crew. The Sydney Composite crew primarily a sculling boat. Two of the members of the two middle members, so 2 and 3 seats of that crew in front from Huon, primarily sweep rowers. So can you believe that? The half sweep and sculling boat knocking over currently the sculling boat from Sydney. Swan River in third, Mercantile are now probably just into third from Swan River, but at the front of the field, it is going to be the Huon Composite crew who are going to claim gold, and by some margin as well, knocking off the defending champions, well, half of the defending champions. It's Huon who claim gold, the Tasmanians tasting success, as well as South Australia and Sydney Uni Boat Club. Second place to the Sydney Composite, and third, Mercantile have dominated the last 500 metres in that contest with Swan River, who were in third for much of the race. Mercantile overhauled them in the last 500 and claimed bronze. Swan River fourth.
So results of the Open Women's Quad Scull. First to Huon, Adelaide City University. Silver to Sydney, Adelaide, West Australian Rowing Club, and bronze to Mercantile and the Victorian Institute of Sport. Fourth was Swan River. Unofficial time 6:27.56, and the margins 5.28 and 13.39. Presentation of medals for the Open Lightweight Men's Coxless 4 Championship of Australia, and the medals will be presented by the Honourable Patrick McNamara, Councillor of Rowing Victoria and former President of Rowing Australia. Third place and bronze medalist, Team Indonesia. Tanzil Hadid. Jeffrey Ardianto Suwano. Muhad Yakin. And Rio Rizky Darmawan. Second place and silver medalists, Swan River, Fremantle, the University of Western Australia and the Western Australian Institute of Sport. Cameron Fowler, Swan River. James Kerr from the University of Western Australia. Mario Lopresti of Fremantle. Stroke by Perry Ward of Swan River. Coaches Neville Kempton and Tom Gaddy. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Team Indonesia. Represented by Adi Asadi. Iram. Ali Bouton. And Ferdi Ancia. The Lucerne Cup will now be presented by the Honourable Patrick McNamara. Please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists. And the Open Men's Quad Scull is on the course, and in lane 3, Team Indonesia with Mimo, Edwin, Gananja Rudiana and Sulpianto and Kakan Kuzmana. And they're in lane number 3. In lane 4, Sydney, Black Mountain, ANU and Adelaide, Jack Kelly, Caleb Antil, Luke Letcher and David Watts. In lane 5, Banks, Yarra Yarra Mercantile, Angus Thornton, Alexander Kinsella, Tom Cregan and Jack Kelly. In lane 6, Huon, Melbourne University, Tamar, Mitchell Digney, Henry Yule, Jordan Smith and Wilson Muir. And in lane number 7 on this side of the course, we have Sam Hookway, Robert Black, Sasha Belanogoff, and James McRae making his debut at the regatta, and they're coached by John Dreesen and Franz Imfeld.
So we can see in this open men's quad scull final, it's Team Indonesia. What an afternoon they are having. They're ahead, it's tight, but the Murray Bridge composite crew, Sam Hookway, Robert Black, Sasha Belanogoff and James McRae in that boat, and John Dreesen and Franz Imfeld. They're in second currently, Sydney Composite in third, the Melbourne Uni Composite in fourth, and the Banks Composite in fifth. But the top 4 crews are fairly close currently. Banks are well out the back. You can see them directly in the middle of the course. Sasha Belanogoff, of course, Olympic silver medalist in that Murray Bridge composite boat in lane number 7. And you can see the lane 4 crew, that Sydney composite crew, also associated with the NTC, has 3 of the 4 members of the gold medal winning crew from last year in this event. Caleb Antill from ANU, Luke Letcher from Black Mountain Rowing Club, and David Watts from Sydney Rowing Club. So there is the crew out in front. It's Jack Kelly in bow. You can see Caleb Antill in 2 seat. In 3 seat, that's Luke Letcher and David Watts from Sydney stroking the boat, coached by Donovan Seck, Jason Baker and Lachlan Carter. And 3/4 of that crew also the Australian men's squad, Hamish Playfair, the one missing. He'll be in action tomorrow in the interstate competition. And it's still that crew from the Sydney composite leading the Murray Bridge composite. Hookway, Black, McRae and Belanogoff, coached by Dreesen and Imfeld. So after the 1500 metre mark, it is still the Sydney composite ahead of the Murray Bridge composites. Team Indonesia in the bronze medal position at the moment. And then it's Melbourne Uni back in 4th and Banks well out of it in 5th currently. This is going to be a fascinating finish. 40 is the rating for the crew at the front of the field currently. The Sydney composite, Murray's Bridge composite, looking to make a move on them. Have they made enough of a move to get themselves ahead? They are rating at 41, so their rating is just a tad higher than the Sydney composite. There is a response from the middle of the course. Team Indonesia, they're still well back in 3rd place. It's going to be between the Murray Bridge composite and the Sydney composite crews as to who will take gold. And we are no clearer to knowing, even with 50 metres to travel, the Murray Bridge composite really lifting it up with McRae and Belanogoff, Hookway and Black. And it will be that crew, the Murray Bridge composite, who claim gold in the open men's quad scull. And they knock off 3/4 of the crew who won the gold in this event last year. Team Indonesia 3rd. In 4th, it will be the Tasmanian crew. The Huon composite, Melbourne Uni composite as well, and Tamar. But what a performance from Sam Hookway, Robert Black, Sasha Belanogoff, and James McRae, who upstaged last year's champs. Banks will finish in 5th.
And unofficial results of the Open Men's Quadruple Scull. In 1st place, Murray Bridge, Sydney University, Mossman and Melbourne University. Silver to Sydney, Black Mountain, ANU and Adelaide. and bronze for Team Indonesia. Fourth was Melbourne University Composite, and in fifth place is the Banks Composite crew. 5:46.17 the time, and 1.32 and 5.28 the margins. Presentation of medals for the Open Women's Quadruple Scull Championship of Australia. The medals will be presented by Flavia Gobbo, Rowing Australia board member and deputy chair. Third place and bronze medalists, Mercantile Rowing Club and the Victorian Institute of Sport. Olivia Sibillan, Madeline Thomas, Amanda Bateman, Rhea Thompson, Coach Simon Gadsden. Second place and silver medalists, Sydney, Adelaide, West Australian Rowing Clubs and the National Training Centre and the New South Wales Institute of Sport. Hannah Vermeesh of West Australian Rowing Club. Harriet Hudson of Sydney Rowing Club. Leah Saunders of Sydney Rowing Club. And Olympia Aldersey of Adelaide Rowing Club. Their coaches Lachlan Carter, Jason Baker and Donovan Seck. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018. Huon, Adelaide, Sydney University and the National Training Centre. We have Georgia Nesbitt of Huon. Representing Adelaide, Molly Goodman. Sarah Hoare of Huon. And Georgia Mansaro of Sydney University Boat Club. Their coaches Paul Newman, Alfie Young and John Dreesen. Please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists. Third place and bronze medalists, Team Indonesia. Represented by Mimo. Edwin Gananja Rudiana. Sulpianto. And stroke by Kakan Kuzmana. Second place and silver medalists, Sydney, Black Mountain, ANU Adelaide and the National Training Centre, Jack Kelly of Adelaide Rowing Club. Caleb Antill of the Australian National University Boat Club, Luke Letcher of Black Mountain, and David Watts of Sydney Rowing Club. Coaches Donovan Seck, Jason Baker and Lachlan Carter. Gold medalists and Australian champions for 2018, Murray Bridge, Sydney University, Mossman, Melbourne University and the National Training Centre. Sam Hookway of Melbourne University Boat Club. Sasha Belanogoff of Sydney University Boat Club. James McRae of Murray Bridge Rowing Club. And Robert Black of Mossman. Coaches John Dreesen and Franz Imfeld. Please congratulate the 2018 Australian champions and medalists.